What everybody on the ground here, except for the great Jeff Nowitzki, everybody thought this was the late great Steve Irwin. It is, in fact, Bill Belichick.
I was going Walter right before he lost his hair in Breaking Bad.
I don't know. We'll be,
that's another one.
Helly, I'll be wearing Belichick T-shirts basically every day until he gets the Falcons job, so get used to it.
Anik's never been interrupted ever once on this weighing show.
No,
it's Dominic Cruz's
I was
fault.
just going to say, like, Anik, you know, you're a professional.
It's always me.
I mean, I feel like I'm juggling chainsaws with these three guys out here. I mean, we're like 5 minutes into the show. It's hard.
Yeah, you guys are stepping all over each other's dicks here early. Let me bring this back a little bit.
If anybody
so you
can
guys,
juggle DC, I mean, whew.
That makes it fun.
See?
So I have said in the lead up to this main event, Hellcat, that what happened at UFC 296 is completely out of sight, out of mind for me. The avid mixed martial arts fans were so geeked for this fight between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis, they didn't need any dust up in the crowd. Certainly promotionally, we will probably repurpose that, but we're not leaning heavily into it because this fight stands alone and stands on its own as a tremendous main event. Betting odds reflect that. It's getting two-way action. I can't wait to see this fight, and Toronto's getting an outstanding main event.
Yeah, it certainly seems like things have cooled. The two have made. I think they actually like each other. I don't know if they'll say that on camera, but what have you noticed about Strickland this week in terms of being the hunted and not the hunter? This is the first time that he's experienced this coming into a fight as a champion.
Very similarly to what I saw in Sydney, Australia, right? He had the crowd there, even though he was fighting somebody that is somewhat local. He has the crowd here. He's a big game player on Fight Night. If you look at his entire career, back when he was 17-1 to now 28-5, he's been very consistent. The Alex Pineda knockout loss is really an outlier in his career. So I like his ability to compartmentalize the competition. He's absolutely a big game player, and it's crazy to think about where his star power was a couple of years ago relative to where it is right now. He's comfortable being a superstar, and I think, you know, depending on which community maybe you align with, he's handled a lot of things really, really well here in Toronto.
You know, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts this week. Anik and Florian, of course, it's my regular rotation. I went out of my rotation and listened to DC's podcast, RC and DC, to get their take on this. And you know what they said? It was really interesting. RC, Ryan Clark, who I respect tremendously, said, you know what, I really didn't like watching Dricus fight for the longest time. Now I do enjoy it a little more and respect him, and I think after that last win, you can't not respect him. But he has seemed especially calm, according to his teammates, coming into this week. What did you notice about Dricus in the fighter meeting?
Yeah, I mean, I do think he has put some pressure on him himself by bringing over 100 family and friends here to Toronto. But yeah, I think it's not really different than anything we've seen. You know, me and my colleagues can now speak to the fact that we have sat down with this man for 7 successive fighter meetings. He's always been calm, cool, and collected. The confidence has always been there, and I just think that speaks to a wealth of championship experience outside the UFC. This man has won 3 belts across 2 divisions. I don't think the bright lights are going to be too much for him. I just think Strickland is a very unique middleweight challenge for a lot of these guys. I even think for Adesanya, if he finds himself in a rematch with Sean Strickland, don't love the matchup. So I think the matchup is more the issue than any of the outside variables. Dricus is in a good place.
All right, and then for the vacant flyweight title, we have Mayra Bueno Silva taking on Raquel Pennington. Both of those ladies are waiting to weigh in as we speak, which starts in just a minute here. Pennington's been through fight week before. How much is experience championship week rather before? How much is experience playing for her, you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's the one word on my fighter card that is in all caps when it comes to Raquel Pennington. It's just the experience. There is a huge gap and discrepancy when it comes to the strength of schedule between these two women. And I think that parlayed with the 5-fight winning streak is why Raquel Pennington is just so confident. Mentally, physically, emotionally, she's never been in a better place. But she's fighting a Brazilian badass that is definitely a submission hunter. So I like the shine these ladies have gotten. I like the heat and the friction that's on that fight. And we'll see what happens later today at the ceremonial weigh-in.
He is the voice of the UFC. John Anik has work to do. Thank you, as always, my friend, for joining us. Love the T-shirt. Look forward to seeing many more of Bill Belichick. So 3 title fighters set to weigh in as we speak. The only one who's not here as of yet is Dricus du Plessis. I said that earlier. I don't know if DC heard it because, once again, when I'm talking, he's on his phone. There's a serious lack of respect.
I'm trying. I was actually
the entire interview.
I listened to the interview. I listened to it great. Me and my colleagues can speak to the fact that Dricus du Plessis is very confident. He has maybe put some pressure on himself by bringing 100 family members, which leads me to the question: where does Dricus du Plessis get all the money to travel all these people from South Africa? Is he royalty over there?
I'm gonna say he's royalty.
The way he
sitting down in a
represents
restaurant the
see,
other day.
hey, but wasn't it crazy how I heard all that? But isn't it crazy that this guy, the way he represents South Africa, the way the country comes together for him, it's like he's a prince over there. So maybe he's got some of that, money from South African royalty.
Or maybe he's not flying all 100 people out.
Oh, he
Here's
flew
Sean
them all.
Strickland.
No, he's definitely paying for everything.
Middleweight champion of the world continues to really kind of change the way he is viewed around the world. He's a straight talker. He's a
184 3/4, the official weight for the champ, Sean Strickland.
He's a guy that doesn't hold his tongue, but he backs it up with his fighting inside the octagon. This guy has improved time and time again, and very rarely do you see someone have such a long career prior to becoming champion
in her first
and then get
UFC
viewed in the
title
way that
fight
Sean
in the
Strickland's
co-main
viewed
event
right now.
for the vacant UFC Women's Bantamweight Championship, the number 3 ranked contender, Maida Bueno Silva.
Maida Bueno Silva, she's on a 4-fight unbeaten streak. She fought Holly Holm in her last fight, and she got a finish, but it was overturned. She failed the drug test for an ADHD medication, I think Ritalin or something. So I don't think it wasn't a big suspension. I think it was like 4 months or something until she could come back. But we got to be careful what we're putting in our bodies before these fights, guys. They're drug testing hard. But man, she's super aggressive, a finisher, 80% finish rate.
135, the official weight for Maida Bueno Silva.
There you go, 135 makes the weight. She's an aggressive fighter, complete finisher, and it's going to be exciting watching this fight.
All right, next fighter to the scale, getting her second crack at UFC Gold, the number 2 ranked bantamweight contender, Raquel Pennington.
For Raquel Pennington to be back in this position, it took a lot. From that loss in the Amanda Nunes fight to all the backlash she got from her actions in the fight, her wanting to kind of stop the fight after the 4th round, she built herself back up to a title contender. Not only does she feel like she's going to win this weekend, she feels like her opponent has disrespected her, is looking past her, and recognizes that all of these mistakes that she feels Bueno Silva's making is going to allow for her to become the champion.
134.8, the official weight for Raquel Pennington. With that, your UFC Women's Bantamweight title fight
It's
is now
so
official.
hard to lose in the way that she did, bounce back, win 5 in a row, and be back in the title fight. But as we spoke about yesterday, the second opportunity is much
Right, next
easier
athlete
because
to
you've
the
been there
scale,
before.
One of the best featherweights in the world, charged with kicking off the pay-per-view main card, number 4 in the world, Arnold Almighty Allen.
Arnold Allen is unbelievably talented as a fighter, but yesterday for me it was his demeanor. Very rarely do you get a guy that is going to fight down in the rankings and just be comfortable and so sure in it. Arnold Allen is fighting against Mobzar and understands that it's not to his benefit, but he feels if he can win and beat an undefeated guy impressively, he puts himself right back on the short list to fight for a championship.
145.5, the official weight for Arnold Allen.
He looked a little bit concerned there for the weight because they were messing with the
All right,
scale
next
so
fighter
much.
to the scale, competing in the men's flyweight division, Jimmy Flick.
I mean, this is the DC weigh-in show. Here comes Jimmy Flick, the boy from Sand Springs, Oklahoma. He said he's been training with the Sand Springs High School wrestling team, home of the great Dayton-fixed Oklahoma State Cowboy. And he said that through all the personal issues that he's had building to this, he's never felt better. Physically, mentally.
126 for Jimmy Flick.
126 for Jimmy Flick. Technically, he feels like he's in a great place to kind of restart his mixed martial arts career going in the right direction.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a prelim, live on ESPN in the women's strawweight division, Poliana Viana.
Poliana Viana, the 31-year-old from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, opening up the prelims against Jillian Robertson. She's been pretty good in her last 2 performance bonuses in each of those fights, going into her 6th year in the UFC. I'm sure you're very familiar with her Instagram page, over 800 plus followers on Instagram, and the story back in 2019 when a guy attempted to steal her phone in Brazil.
115 3/4, the official weight for Poliana Viana.
Poliana's got some new tattoos, and she got like a nose ring or
nose
something
rings
now.
in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Poliana's like,
Going all out.
we're like the evil Poliana, the dark version of her.
The tattoos are always changing, so I can never tell if they're permanent tattoos or
Okay,
temporary
I-
Other
tattoos.
gentleman around
Dark
whom
version of
this
it.
entire fight card was built, the number 2 ranked middleweight contender, challenging for the undisputed title here Saturday night. Dricus du Plessis.
Yeah, du Plessis, I mean, obviously, and when you watch him fight, he's just bigger than a lot of these guys in the weight class. I think that that's what you got to look at when you see how he fights. His durability, the way he eats shots and returns after he eats them. And I think that has to do with the size. He doesn't look very miserable, though. Like, Strickland looked more miserable than him.
Yeah.
And he could be faking it better, obviously. We all fake it up there to an extent, but he didn't look sucked out.
184
He looks ready to
pounds, the
go.
official weight for
He's big.
Dricus
He's a
du
big-
Plessis.
He's a
Big
big
upper
dude
body.
for that
And
weight
with
class.
that, your
His
UFC
noggin is
297.
giant.
He's a
Championship
pound
main
underweight.
event.
Sean looked like he was still sweating, kind of like wet.
He looked like he was
still
just
cutting
finished.
weight. Yeah.
All right, next fighter to hit the scale this morning, competing in the featured prelim in the men's bantamweight division, former 2-time Ultimate Fighter winner, Brad Katona.
The only 2-time tough champion that we have here on Earth beat Cody Gibson at UFC 292 to earn that second title. The Canadian currently training in Ireland, but being back here in Toronto, a full circle moment, won his first UFC fight here, and now in his second go-around in the UFC, looking to kick things off with another win. He just sounded giddy
Looks
this
like
week.
he's shaking a little bit. No?
136, the official weight for
His arm
Winnipeg's
shake.
finest, Brad Katona.
Says he's not only a different fighter, but a different human as he gets ready
All
for
right,
a
next
second
fighter
go-around.
to the scale, competing in the UFC's welterweight division. We welcome Sam Patterson.
Sam Patterson fighting out of the UK tomorrow night. I look to go put a statement on. Submission or knockout, either way, I want to finish it before the final bell.
Sam Patterson, let's see how he weighs in. Looking tall.
Looking tall.
He is lanky, man. This guy is so lanky. And, you know, he was big at 145, so now the fact that he's coming up to welterweight, I mean, excuse me, 55. Now he's coming up to welterweight. And he says, you know, in the meeting, he's like, look, I was sucking weight so hard. I'm so happy to be able to just show up, not have to worry about it. And I think that now not having to punch down at my opponents, having somebody at my height will keep me less susceptible for the big shots.
Live on ESPN Plus pay-per-view, the number 14 ranked middleweight contender in the world, the Action Man, Chris Curtis.
What's up, guys? I'm Chris the Action Man Curtis, fighting out of Extreme Couture in Las Vegas, Nevada. And my question for you, DC, is when are you gonna stop telling people about this terrible handshake? Like, let this die. Stop telling people.
No, I'm not letting it die. I'm not letting it die.
What happened with the handshake?
Well, Chris and I tried to shake hands, and I mean, honestly, it was the worst.
185 1/4, the official weight
185
for
and a
Chris
quarter.
Curtis.
So you know when two, like you ever see two black dudes come together and they shake hands and it's all this stuff?
Yeah.
Well, Chris and I tried, and it was bad.
You guys were both. who wasn't black enough?
Hey,
Who
Chris,
messed
it was
that up?
Chris, it was
Yeah,
Chris.
Okay, he's hanging out with Strickland too much.
Chris and I tried, and it was bad.
Fans have come to see proper Mike Malott.
That's so good.
This dude is fun to watch, man.
Malott, we know that he's coming out here to hold it down for Canada. They were screaming when he came out, so he's got a lot of love out here. I wonder if that's going to create more pressure, or if he handles it and uses it to make him show up better. You never know how that pressure works for guys, but Mike Malott's about to feel it because when he comes out there, it's going to be loud.
170.5, the official weight for Burlington's own Mike Malott.
He reminds me of just a hockey player, like a really good
Really
hockey
kinda-
player
yeah.
that decided to
Big,
get into
burly.
MMA.
By the way,
And
his
he's
last fight,
big. I was
last fight in
surprised.
Vancouver, he feeds off that energy.
It was so loud in there, bro.
He's tall. He's big for the weight, man.
Competing in the women's
Him and Neil
bantamweight
Magny were
division,
like head to head.
Jasmine Jasudavicius.
So Jasmine, she's from Canada. She trains at Niagara Top Team. She won 2 of her last 3 fights, and she's one of the very few women that are in the division that come from a strong wrestling background. She took a silver medal in the Canadian National Freestyle Tournament, which is a pretty big deal. Now let's see how much she weighs here.
Jasmine Jasudavicius on the scale right now.
Can you say her name for me, DC?
Jasmine
133 for Jasmine
Well,
Jasudavicius.
I'll say it when I ask you this question.
Okay.
Did you run out of stuff on Jasmine Jasudavicius? Because that was light. I mean,
You listened to her weigh in, man.
No, you left her about 10
Did
seconds.
you hear about the
You
Olympics?
left her about 10 seconds on the scale, man.
Second in the nationals
You were a
in
little light
freestyle?
there. You didn't pack
I
it.
thought you were going to say something about the
You
Canadian
only packed an
national
overnight
taking
bag
second
for
place.
that one, didn't you?
Well, here's her opponent,
What a
the zombie
hater.
girl, Priscilla Cachoeira, the 35-year-old Brazilian, taking on Jasmine in the second fight of the night. She looks good. You know, she's missed weight a couple of times, twice in the UFC. She had a fight scheduled last April against Karine Silva. So this is never an easy deal for Priscilla to make weight.
Oh, it's going up the scale. Just kicked up. You know what I love about just what I did to Chris there? Now you're like reaching. You're like,
No,
I
I'm
gotta
now
keep talking,
I'm
keep
building
talking.
the drama.
133 and a half,
don't-
the official weight
DC's
for
gonna call you guys
Priscilla
out.
Cachoeira.
She was 133 and a half.
Yeah.
That's like a pound and a half
They're
under.
clearing
two
it
and a half
back, yeah.
pounds under.
All
Like,
right,
what are they doing?
Maybe the check scales are light.
competing live
Yeah,
on
like, what-
pay-per-view in the
what-
middleweight
what-
division.
Why is
Quebec
everybody so
zone,
light?
Power
Maybe
bar,
the check
Mark
scales.
Andre.
You would never go
Barao.
2.5 under.
Barao,
If I did, I'd be
looking
like
to
a little
take out
nervous
a
about that.
14 Chris Curtis. Tough matchup in that one because, you know, opposing styles for sure. When we talk about Barao, it's the way that he crashes forward. And when we talk about Chris Curtis, he likes to counter and wait. So it's going to be a question of, can Barao emphasize the offense and get Chris Curtis behind, I think is what Chris Curtis got to watch out for, not let himself get caught looking for the big
184
shot.
and a half, the official weight for Mark Andre.
Yeah,
Barao.
these scales must be off because he's a pound and a half under what he needed to weigh.
That's crazy. Or this scale is just super light.
Or super
and
light.
All right,
everybody's
next
happy.
fighter.
Yeah,
to
we
the
all pray
scale,
for that.
oncoming force in the
Dude,
featherweight division.
When does that ever happen?
Charles
Never.
Air.
Never.
It never happened.
Definitely never happened for you, DC.
No doubt about
Unless
that.
there's a towel there, he got a pound and a half like quick.
Could somebody do Charles
We got
Jourdain?
Jourdain. He's out. Sorry, we were talking about UDC. Jourdain's obviously got this nasty talent. You saw the one Sparta kick that's what he's known for. Like at the end of the fight, he Sparta kicked this dude, folded him, and he just comes out so strong. He's back and forth with some of the fights that he's had, but he's just, when he comes ready and
145
prepared
and a half, the
mentally,
official weight for
which he
Charles
says he is
Jourdain.
for this one, he's mentally prepared and had all the time he needs for this matchup. I think we're going to see a fun fight against
All right,
Woodson.
next athlete to the stage, making his UFC debut in the bantamweight division, Surrey City.
My name is Sergey Sidey. I'm fighting out of Burlington, Ontario, Canada. And Chris, I trained with you back in the day at Matt Serra's gym. You bored myself. Do you remember me?
Sidey, of course I remember
Hey,
you,
no,
man. You were
stop.
training with Alvin May and
No,
Marone.
he did.
I actually remember
He's full
talking
of
to
shit.
Longo about this kid. Like, this kid is talented. He was giving those guys fits in the gym. And
You're full of shit.
I didn't know he was from Canada.
Dude, you're full of shit.
He's
when
from
they brought-
Ontario.
135, the official weight for Surrey City.
135. Guys, we'll go back to this because I'm glad. This is the best thing about this show because they record everything. Somebody said something to Chris in his ear and he goes, oh, he trained with me?
Stop.
He does not know who City is.
Stop it.
I
Of
promise.
course I remember him.
We got it on
Look at his
video.
look. Of course you remember him.
Jillian
Got
the
dyed hair.
Savage Robertson.
Here comes Jillian Robertson. Look, Jillian Robertson has been in this game for a really long time. She continues to
I'm
put
waiting for
herself in position to do special things. Now, my question is, what is the purpose now? Because she has had her long runs. She's gone up and down. Like, what's the point now of the fight? I know she has a lot of submissions. I know that she's always valuable in the weight class.
115 and 3/4.
115 and 3/4. But like,
Jillian Robertson.
what is Jillian Robertson trying to work towards now? Because for a long time it was title shot. I'm going to get a title shot. But obviously that's not happening. I always wonder as fighters get older, like what's the purpose of the fighting and the motivation to continue to do it? I think that's kind of where Jillian Robertson is right now.
Yo, everyone give him a round of applause. That was
good.
so good.
I
That
know
was
it
so
was.
good.
I'm good at my job.
Now you're a tryhard.
I'm good at my job.
Because Dominic is here, you want to like really show off. You don't want him to call you out on like not being prepared. 100%.
I have nightmares.
100%.
He worries about it so much.
Dom's way taller than you.
DC's up at night worrying
your head.
about-
It's so crazy, like
research.
whenever like Dom's working with me, like he's bigger than me because I'm like shrinking into my chair. Like, I don't know.
Yo, look at him. Dom is up
Trying to
here.
find a way to.
Dom's like the bully. Dom's like
Can you
the
show me
friggin'
how to
boogeyman.
use my elbows, like in this chair, though, DC? Show me how it should. So is this how sophisticated like dad sit?
This it's like when you like this. Look with your finger.
You guys, you
You
guys
gotta do the leg cross. It's something like I get it. That's a big
leg
chair.
cross.
That's a confident leg cross.
That is
I don't know if
confident.
because that's like I'm comfortable.
I feel
with
like
my
I need to do a
sexuality.
cross.
Yeah, you do
I
that.
need to do a
I haven't
cross.
got there
He's
yet.
showing a little bit, because look at him. If Dan Henley turn a little bit to his level, he'll be showing that ass.
Hang on a second.
Look at him, look at him.
Do you think we'll ever see DC with his legs crossed like that?
I can't.
Let me see you try.
My knees are too bad.
You can't do this?
No, my knees are too bad.
I
If I was
just
standing
don't.
like this,
can
can I
you
get a
not?
look? I
Can you
wanna-
not? Because you got the high tops on. It doesn't.
It looks weird, right?
With the high tops especially, I don't
But it
know
looks
what it
good.
is about that.
Look,
Oh,
how
look.
he changed his cross.
Arm filled.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at Armfield, the big thing about him is you got to look at the matchup with Katona. You know, Katona's winning 2 Ultimate Fighters, so how much does he have to prove in order to beat somebody like that? And what does he get when he does so? After you beat somebody like Katona
135
and you go
1/4,
out there
the
and
official
show
weight
that you're
for
here in the
Darren
division,
Armfield.
at the top of the division by beating the Ultimate Fighter winner twice, you're here. You move up the division quickly.
All right, let's welcome in Raquel Pennington, fighting for her title. She has weighed in, looking good, feeling good. Raquel, how have you managed to kind of steer clear of the trash talk coming your way from your opponent this week?
None of that matters. You sit here and you talk all this crap, but at the end of the day, you're going to answer to my fist on Saturday. So
You seem to be in such a great mental space here. Your second title shot, your first since 2018. Do you feel like the biggest difference for you coming into this one is more mental or physical?
mental, for sure. I feel like just in general, I've grown as an athlete and as a person, and so it just makes the biggest difference. I mean, I put in the physical work all these years, but at the end of the day, my mind frame is just a lot different.
Raquel, what's the difference between your preparation for this fight and other title fights?
My other title fight, I was just coming back from a long layoff. You know, there was a lot of things that went into that. And this time, I mean, I'm not even looking in the rearview mirror. I just feel like a difference as a person. I've grown tremendously as a human being and as an athlete. And, you know, the biggest motivation of my life right now, becoming a mom and having that little girl, is just, it's changed everything.
What's the biggest thing that you've had to change physically and cardio-wise for the 5-round pace that you're about to face?
I've always had it in me. You know, I go into 3-round fights and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you never look tired. And as soon as I hit a 3rd round, I'm like, all right, let's bring on more rounds. And that used to be my frustration, because I would sit here and I would start out a fight and I have this wicked cardio. But I mean, I do everything it takes. I do all the proper recovery. I spend time in hyperbaric chamber. I live in high altitude. I go out running in the mountains. So it's in my DNA.
Raquel, you spoke about your cardio. Is it important to start fast this weekend and really show Mayra Bueno Silva that you're the one that belongs at this level and that she doesn't really belong? Because it feels like all the trash talk is a way to build confidence going into the fight.
Absolutely. You know, at the end of the day, I don't feel like she came in with my high pace at all. I feel like I totally push a different pace, and that alone will break her. You know, I just go out there and I be me, and I focus on my capabilities and my abilities. I win in every aspect, especially cardio.
Yeah, where do you think your biggest advantage is? You know, because when speaking to Mayra Bueno Silva, she just feels like she has the advantages everywhere. Where do you feel that you hold the biggest advantage to trying to become the champion this weekend?
For me, truly, honestly, everywhere. You know, I'm a well-rounded mixed martial artist. I could sit here, I have striking for days, I can grapple, I can wrestle. You know, my first passion was actually jiu-jitsu. So she's not going up against just a one-dimensional fighter. Like, she has not experienced what I'm about to bring to the octagon.
Hey, what's going on? You have experienced being in the octagon with some of the best girls in women's mixed martial arts history. And she's coming out at you with a whole bunch of trash talk. Like, how is that? How are you dealing with that? Is that one of the main motivators coming into this fight for you?
No, absolutely not. It's just outside noise. And like I said, at the end of the day, you know, you can run your mouth all you want, but a fight's a fight. You're going to have to answer to my fists. And for me, you're talking all this smack, but I really want to know who you fought. Like, I've been in the UFC now for 10 years. Majority of that 10 years has been spent in the top 10. I fought the best of the best. I've already fought for a world title. Like, this is not foreign territory for me. And really, I have no pressure. Like, pressure's on you. You're adding more pressure to yourself. You're sitting here talking all this smack, talking all this hype, and you're having to build yourself up. But, you know, I'm sitting in my solitude. Like, I belong here. I know exactly what I'm going to bring. I'm prepared. Your outside noise doesn't matter to me.
I love it. How much does experience play a part in this fight? You obviously have way more experience than her. How does that actually play out in the fight in your favor?
Tremendously, in my opinion. I mean, you know, this is my first rodeo, and like I said, I fought for a world title before. I've felt this pressure. I've been on the high stages. I've been a co-main event. I've been a main event. Like, this is no different. So for me, I'm enjoying the ride. I'm embracing the journey. I'm truly having fun. And, you know, like I said, I'm sitting in my solitude, and I'm ready to go out there and put on a show.
Raquel Pennington, one half of our co-main event. Good luck tomorrow. Can't wait to see you get out there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And she is fighting for a title for the second time in her career, the first time since 2018. Chris, you asked her about the experience. I mean, you guys have gone through this where we got Yohan on the scale right now.
Lainesse. Canadian boy, Dana White Contender Series in 2021, punched his ticket into the UFC. Since then, he's gone 1-2. So this is a big fight for him. Let's see how much he weighs. Tons of tattoos.
You don't say.
Tons of tattoos. What's your favorite, Dom?
170 3/4, the official weight for Yohan Lainesse.
Dude, I wish I wish that there was a time that I weighed in and the scale was that light. I'm to this point, like, I don't even think it's a question anymore.
I totally thought you were going to say, I wish I was that skinny at
he
one point
weighed
in my life.
170 3/4.
Well,
like,
this is the question. Is it the scale or the human?
They're all a pound and a half under. Nobody goes a pound and a half underweight on weigh-in day.
That's only...
Oh, I thought it was 172.
It was 0.25.
It's 171 is the non-championship weight. Okay, oh my God. I was like, oh my goodness.
You thought it was 2.5?
I thought it was 72.
I'm starting to understand the discrepancies in your own weight issues.
So maybe all the weights.
I get it now.
Maybe all the weights were closer than I thought.
I get it. It all makes sense. He just told on himself.
Was I giving everybody a pound less?
I think so. I think so. The scale's accurate.
I'm giving everybody a pound less.
Including yourself.
Oh my God.
That's the story of your life.
That's why I'm always like close to weight. Like, oh my God, I'm on.
You know who's with us now?
How long did it take for him to finally come out and say the tailgate was actually true?
He sold himself out.
Hall of Fame speech?
I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Oh, you did during your Hall of Fame speech. Actually, you were very public about it.
Yeah.
Even Mike Malott saw it, who was with us now,
Chris,
by the way.
can I ask you a question?
Hold that question. We have a guest who's waiting. You
just real quick.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, Chris, who's Sergey Sidey?
Sergey Sidey's a guy who trained with me out at Cerro-Longo camp a few years ago. He's from Ontario, Canada.
Oh Mike Malott, please save us. Please save us.
Up,
you are
guys?
what's up, man? Hey, last time we saw you, the arena in Vancouver was rocking, and now you're here a little closer to home. This must be an unbelievable week for you.
This has been a great week, man. I've been sleeping at my parents' house about 40 minutes from the hotel all week, so other than last night. But yeah, man, it's been a great experience. Get to come to the hotel and feel the fighter energy, and then go home and chill and hang out with the dog and the family and stuff in between. It's been great.
Oh, hold on. So you've been able to stay at home, your childhood home, this whole week?
Well, my parents have moved since where I lived when I was a child, but yeah, it's at least staying with my parents.
That's awesome.
But Mike, is that really the best thing? You're getting ready for a combat situation to go into that level of comfort. You think it's okay? Like, do you think that you can be as locked in at home when you're with the dogs and the family, or
you trying to get in his head?
100%, man. Yeah, 100% I can, man. I don't need to be, I think being just present and calm and peaceful, that's how I feel when I get in the cage, man. I think that's why when you see Bruce Buffer announce my name, I feel calm. You see some guys almost like tweaking out, freaking out when those bright lights come on, and I'm at home and I'm at peace and I'm calm, and going into fight week feeling like that, I'll feel the same way in the cage.
Chris, I don't need to get in his head because I ain't fighting Mike Malott, and he lucky, he better for it.
Yeah, Neil Magny paid you off or something?
I'm just kidding, Mike. I'm just kidding, Matt. Hey, but
I think the comfort zone's
Mike,
good.
Hey, Mike, listen. Big momentum you got going right now. I remember when you got your contract on the Contender Series, I called the fight. Could you have imagined that it would be going this good and this fast? Because it seems like you're speeding towards becoming a real contender in this division.
Yeah, man, it's exactly how I'd hoped it would go. So far everything's going to plan. said, you know, my first few fights, first contracts, I just want 3 highlights and performance bonuses, and then I want to start climbing the rankings, and that's exactly what I've done, right? 3 finishes, all within the first half of the fight. Got a couple performance bonuses, and now we are with here with a veteran getting my number on Saturday night. This is my time to enter the ranking.
Hey, what's up, Mike? How's the pressure compared to a fight when you're out of country as opposed to when you're fighting literally in the hometown that you grew up in? You got tons of fans here. You got tons of family that are going to be here supporting you. Is the pressure, does it feel different pressure-wise, or kind of just another day in the office?
I feel like it's all how you look at it, man. It's all energy, and I choose to use it to help me rise, and where you know, I feel like it helps me rise to the next level. Like, I don't view it as pressure. I view it as privilege. Like, I've wanted to do this since I was a little kid. I've wanted to perform athletically, whether it would be in hockey or fighting, since I was, you know, 5 years old in this stadium, and I get to do it, man.
That's awesome.
So yeah, this isn't pressure to me. This is privilege. I don't know who's whispering around back there, but I'm hearing somebody whispering.
No, it's Dominic Cruz. He's being rude.
Mike, did you play hockey? Did you play hockey, Mike? Because we said earlier when you're on the scale, he looks like a big hockey player. Were you a hockey player, Mike?
Bro, I'm Canadian, man. Of course, I played hockey for like 12 years, man. I was never that great at it.
This is how DC, sorry, Mike. DC doesn't do his research. I know your brother got drafted to the NFL.
I'm so researched that I know your brother went to the NHL.
Yeah. Mike, that was me whispering. I was trying to get the betting line on your fight and see why they're.
You're as athletic as it comes.
How does it make you feel that you're a heavy favorite? Does that mess with you at all?
No, man. I mean, in my head, I'm always the favorite, so it doesn't matter what other people think. But in my head, of course, I'm going out there to win. You know, I've got 11 wins, 11 stoppages. None of them have gone past the first half of the fight. Don't care about the round, don't care about the method, but by strike or by strangle, I'm getting my stoppage.
So you see 100% when you go out against Neil that there's going to be a finish. Can you say if you think it's going to be striking or grappling according to what you've seen of his style so far?
I don't care. I can knock him out. I can submit him.
Which one do you
me,
think,
man?
That's on. Which one do you think you're going to finish by?
I don't care. I genuinely do not care. So long as the judges get to go take a break and check their phones and go chill while I'm fighting, and the fans get to have a great time, and I get my win.
DC will check his phone.
Mike, before we let you go, I got a question. Neil Magny has been around for a really long time, and he has now started to fight these young up-and-comers. He fought Shavkat. He fought Ian Gary. Does it make it to where you have to beat him very impressively? Because just winning, when you're in the situation as you are today, you get compared to all those guys. Is just winning enough, or do you feel like you have to finish him and beat him impressively like those guys did?
Doesn't matter to me, like, as far as comparison with those guys. I don't really think about that. Think about myself, and I'm confident I can get the stoppage, and that's what people want to see. That's what moves you up in the rankings, and that's what I consider a real win. Like, of course, if it goes the distance and you get a decision win, you know, winning's the most important part, but it really feels like a real win for me when the ref has to jump in and save a guy from you. You know, that's what a real win is for me, is like, there's no excuses. You didn't just run out of time. You didn't need more time. It wasn't a bad decision. Like, you got beat up and someone had to save you from me. So that's how I view fighting, and that's what I go out there to do. I don't go out there to rush it. You know, I feel like a lot of guys that have stoppages are going out there and they're like sprinting for the first 7 minutes to try and put guys away, and then they like fade. Like, that's not what I do. Like, I've never been in a rush in the UFC. I've taken my time, but I just find stoppages.
Mike, there's one more question I have before we let you go, because seeing the reaction in Vancouver that this country had for you, there have been a lot of great Canadian fighters in the UFC, especially in the welterweight division, right? GSP, Rory McDonald. You are looked at as potentially the next great Canadian fighter. For some people, that would be a burden, but I feel like you're kind of running towards that. You seem to enjoy that. Is that the case?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, when I first got back into fighting, because I took some time off, I got back into fighting and then went on Contender Series and was making my debut. My goals were kind of just, you know, like, let's see how far we can go and do this for me and enjoy the sport and blah, blah, blah. But after getting, like, this support from my country and the fans and, like, feeling like how much it means to other people, it feels like my journey's a lot bigger than just me now, so it gives me like an even stronger purpose and an even stronger why. It's like, it's not even just that I want to win for me and to be a champion for me and to make money for me that I'm getting up early and I'm working hard and I'm making all these sacrifices. It's because I want to represent my country and I want to make these fans proud and my family proud and these people that are supporting me and getting behind me. I want to do right by them.
Proper Mike Malott. Thanks for joining us, and I can't wait to see the arena at Scotiabank Arena tomorrow when you make that walk, Mike.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
I know DC can't say this, and we're not supposed to have favorites, but when you have the backing of an entire country and you're literally in your backyard and you're staying at home, how can you not like this guy's story, man? And he, by the way, he's a freaking stud.
Yeah,
I mean, he just goes out there and finishes, man. It's going to be fun.
I'm surprised how big he is because Neil Magny usually towers over everybody at weigh-ins and in their face-offs because he's just tall and super lean. And Mike is like right there with him. Besides, he's got a little bit more bulk to him.
He's way
so
more
he's
muscular.
big, but he doesn't even look sucked out.
And Neil Magny has not weighed in. We'll keep you up to date with that. But let me ask you this. This is a chance for him to move into the rankings for the first time for Mike Malott, right? Like he can really put a stamp on his status in the UFC. Is there extra pressure when you go into your first big fight? They're all big, but you're the biggest to date.
Yeah, I think each athlete has their own way of dealing with the pressure. You can hear Mike saying, "Oh, I feel nothing. None of it matters," which means it all does.
Yep.
Like it's the complete opposite of what he's saying.
He's lying.
It's okay. I wouldn't say he's lying, but he's trying to tell himself something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
It's positive affirmations.
He's doing the best he can, but he is nervous. It's a lot of pressure. And you got to remember, the reason he's going against Neil Magny is not just because he's experienced, because he's hard to finish, and this guy's got all finishes.
Right.
And he's putting that extra pressure on himself that I'm a finisher. This is what I do. This is all I do. I only finish. And it's like, man, what does that mean about you or anybody who doesn't finish? What have you made up about yourself that if you don't get this finish, that's more pressure that's already here, like not necessarily really needed, but maybe that's why he's got all finishes, because that pressure ignites him.
It also puts a question mark on the cardio aspect. So if he's never gone the full distance, how is he going to handle if Magny sticks around? And Magny's got great cardio.
And he's so hard to finish.
He does not get tired. He's super durable. He's been in there with the best of the best. He's beaten some of the best of the best. And it's a really tough fight to just go out there and think you're just going to get a finish, because Ian Gary was able to do it, but that was a short notice fight for Magny.
No, he didn't finish him. He beat him by decision.
But
he beat him up, though.
Oh, he beat him up bad.
Yeah.
I thought
Shavkat finished him.
Shavkat finished him.
And that's where the lie is. That's where the lie is. Because when Mike Malott says, I don't really worry about comparisons, it ain't your comparisons, Mike. It's the world's comparisons. Because we look at all these young prospects in the same regard, or at least to a degree. Now we know Shavkat is a little further along than Ian Gary. We know Ian Gary's a little further along than Mike Malott. But they both dominated Neil Magny. Sure, he's fighting Neil Magny because it's a big fight. But unfortunately, Neil Magny finds himself in that place where you are now used to elevate the younger guys going into the top of the division. You have to beat him in a certain way if you want to truly be considered as elite as Mike Malott thinks he is. So it is pressure. He has to have pressure to go out there and do what he's supposed to do this weekend. And we have learned a lot of times what you're supposed to do sometimes is harder than what's unexpected.
If he beats him tomorrow night and finishes him, takes out Magny, is he on a higher level than Ian Gary now? Do we see him as a higher level as far as a prospect?
I don't think it comes down to just having the finish, but it needs to be in line. It can't be a dogfight. If it's a dogfight, you're like, well, he needs more time. Right now, we're thinking to ourselves, Ian Gary is about ready to start fighting the best guys in the division. Because you watch him and you see the way that he fights and the way that he controls guys and goes, this kid's really, really good. We obviously know Shavkat, but it was after that where you started going, man, Shavkat might be ready. Because nobody does that to Neil Magny.
Yeah. Speaking of needing more time, for Raquel Pennington, it's been, 6 years, basically, since her last title shot at 224 against Amanda Nunes. And to be able to come back now and get a second chance after the way that ended, especially against Amanda Nunes. You're looking at me, you keep looking at the way I have, my leg crossed. So
You're self-conscious, man.
It's bad,
I'm not even
bro.
looking at that anymore.
It was bad.
You're sitting like a man.
It was bad for Raquel Pennington after that fight. It was really bad.
When it seemed like it took her a minute, right? She hasn't fought a ton since then.
She's been fighting once a year, last couple of years, but just the way it happened, where she goes, I'm done. In the corner said, no, you're not. You're going to keep fighting. The beating that she took, the beating that her corner took, a lot of athletes, that would crush you and finish you.
That's
but
a
it
hard
didn't
one.
to her.
That is probably the hardest thing to come back from in their UFC career, is coming back from that. When you got millions of fans watching you on the stool looking to stop the fight, that's hard to come back from. But she has, man. It shows the mental fortitude, the physical fortitude. She is now on a 5-fight win streak, coming back, fighting for the belt.
I swear, I think one of the main reasons of everything you're saying is it's so hard to come back from, but how hard is it to come back from if the person that did it to you left? The ego can be released.
But she was still doing it.
The criticism that she's getting from the fans and everybody.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that person.
But no, she was also doing it when Amanda was still
in the
here.
division. So now she knew the best in the division. She felt it. And then now that person's gone. That's all rejuvenated.
No, but Dom, she was building the win streak when Amanda was still here.
Okay.
And if Amanda was still here and they offered her a title fight, she would have fought her.
Yeah, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. She's not here, and that's more confidence because the person that beat you is no longer.
Oh, so you're saying like sitting on the throne is not that big,
she's gone.
bad.
The throne is not there. There's nobody there that's beat her. So now she has rejuvenated confidence to go in here. I'm on a 5-fight streak. I've faced the best that nobody else has faced because she left. I'm going to win.
How do you compare Amanda Nunes and Mayra Bueno Silva?
It's not comparable.
Not comparable.
That's what I'm saying.
Not
She knows that in her head.
all.
She knows that in her head. Mayra uses the boxing and the leg kick, but Amanda does the same thing but stronger and has done it
Hits
better,
harder,
longer, for a longer period of time with more experience and probably more durable if you look at the fight experience and the proof and the results. So I see Mayra being a little bit of a lesser version of Amanda, and she knows what Amanda feels like.
Maybe better with submissions, though? What do you think? A little bit better submissions
well,
than
she
Amanda
doesn't.
Nunes?
Amanda didn't need to go for it because she hits you so hard.
Everyone's a black, like, you don't just say, oh, he's a black belt.
I would
think they're all
say
the same.
Amanda even was a little bit more edged because of the experience in the grappling. I really think that. Yeah.
And she's bigger, I feel like, right?
All
She's
that. So you got to look at
stronger.
that and say that person's gone. I'm going to win.
Well,
That's a big relief.
what do you
way
tell?
better opportunity to win, for sure.
Yeah, in her head, she's like, it's not that. I've felt that, and it's not that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to win.
Yeah.
It's a lot of confidence you can have.
And if you're coaching both of these fighters, let's start with Pennington, DC. What are you telling her? You got to keep it on the feet?
Start fast. I say you got to start fast. I say she has to really show that she's the one that's been here. She's the one that's shown that she can compete at this level. She's the one that recognizes all the glitz and the glamour that comes with a UFC championship opportunity. Because for everything that Mayra Bueno Silva is saying, she's still someone that has very limited experience in this weight class. Because remember, this whole thing is built on the fact that she went up from 125 and she hasn't lost. Because at 125, she would lose fights. She went up, I haven't lost at bantamweight. I'm better at bantamweight. I'm not sucking down all this weight. What if Raquel Pennington immediately goes, well, this is the real bantamweight. You haven't been fighting people that have lived this the way that I've lived this. Sure, she beat Holly, but Holly's like in her 40s now, right? This is the real bantamweight. You got to show her. Right away, you got to show.
That's kind of my point, because she faced Amanda, who's a real bantamweight, so she has that in her head.
100%.
Well, she has to show that.
She knows
right
she's
away.
felt that, though. She's felt that
but
level.
technically, what I think she needs to do, if you watch Mayra Bueno Silva fight, it's the same thing every time. She comes forward. She's not going to stop moving forward. No matter how many times you hit her, she has a very high guard. You got to come to the body early. And Raquel does a good job with that. She does hit the body well.
Boxer.
She does, throw
And
body
how
kicks.
is that different than Amanda? It's the same thing.
You won that point. I'm with you. She's different than
I'm
Amanda.
saying, so she's prepared. It's not about trying to be right. I'm just saying, like, she's prepared for everything, like you're saying, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I think she's faced everything you're saying.
Besides
and that's interesting.
on a higher level, for sure.
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So how about on the flip side with Bueno Silva, on Embedded, when they're running, she's watching Countdown, I believe, on Embedded, and she starts tearing up. Like, this is the first time for her in a title fight. Pennington's been there before. She's obviously very motivated. She's coming in on a win streak as well. But it's a little different deal when you're going through it for your first time.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then, with the drug tests and everything, how much of that is, you don't have things going on for you that you might have had before. Now it's a new fight. It really is. That makes it a new fight, doesn't it? I mean, that's a performance enhancer for a reason. So you got more things you're dealing with mentally, physically, everything. And that's part of being a champion. And plus, you're also the champion, so you have more pressure on top of that.
How about a guy who's trying to become a champion joining us now? Dricus du Plessis, one half of our main event. Dricus, you like flew up onto that scale. You're all smiles. Normally everybody looks gaunt. They're beat down. They just want to slowly kind of, get a little food in them, a little hydration. But you look great, man. Was this an easy cut for you?
Absolutely not. But I was really happy to get on that scale, and I literally walked from my room. I made the weight 5 minutes before 9. Walked down, got on the scale, as a professional does, feeling like a champion. As I made the weight, I knew tomorrow night I'm becoming new middleweight champion of the world. Sitting next to you guys there, Chris Weidman just saw a legend to me. Somebody that I've always said I would love the honor of sharing the cage with. He's somebody I completely look up to. He did the impossible when nobody thought it was possible. I watched that fight live. I was maybe 18 years old. And that's been an inspiration to me, and it's an honor to sit here and speak to you guys.
Hey, listen, man, I appreciate that. I seen some of your 100 fans in the hotel lobby the other day, and they're all super supportive. You know what DC was asking before? He was wondering, did you pay for all 100 people to come here? Did you fly them in? Are you like the Prince of South Africa? How did this happen?
The Prince of South Africa. I don't know if that's offensive or not, but...
oh, no, I don't think it's... Or the king? Or maybe
Are
the
you
king.
the king?
You're the king.
Is that offensive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not at all. I don't know. I'm not a prince. I would be a king, but no, not in South Africa.
You're getting slid some side money from Africa, I feel like. You got, it's not just UFC money coming your way, I feel like.
But no, I didn't fly all of those people in. I flew my corner in, and, that's my family. I promised my dad an upgrade. My dad's a very big dude, so he wouldn't fit in economy. So I told him as soon as I make enough money, I can upgrade him and fly him out, and this was it. And, having my mom, my dad, my brothers, my nieces, all the friends and support, the 100 people, I all know all of them personally, and all of them did that at their own expense. And that just shows you the amount of support that I'm getting. It's insane.
I love it. One of the things that I think make you very special, Dricus, is that you have a very unorthodox style. And when you're coming up, even though you're winning fights, people were always kind of talking about you. Like, I don't think he's that good. He's running forward with his punches. It doesn't look clean and crisp. And then you beat Robert Whittaker, and all of a sudden people are like, maybe he's actually that good. But usually in past, if you had an unorthodox fighter like that and he was getting that type of criticism from people, he would start trying to change up his game to try to impress other people. But it seems like you have a lot of confidence, and your unorthodox style is something that you bring to the table that's effective, and it's one of the main reasons you're so great. How do you deal with that when you see the criticisms from fans and commentators like DC?
What?
Yeah. I hear you.
Listen, these are real
DC
questions. I know Dricus knows.
We had this conversation, me and DC, and I told him, listen, a lot of times you were giving the most shit. I said, DC obviously doesn't like me, but that's fine. I'll make a fan out of him too. And we had this talk on the week, and I told him a lot of times I'm looking at him and going, well, DC has a good point, because the man's a double champion, so I can take some from that. But a lot of times I go, what are you talking about? You don't know shit.
Let's go, Dricus.
He said DC's full of shit. He told me right to my face. He goes, a lot of times I think you're just full of shit. Hey, Dricus.
But sorry, just to answer your question, I mean, for us, that is, and it's very true what you say. It's hard sometimes to keep believing in your style and the things that we train, because you're getting this criticism. But, I believe in my coach, Morné Visser. I believe in my team back at CIT in Pretoria. We came all this way from nothing, in a sense that we weren't ever seen as a threat. And we are fighting for a world title. I knocked out Robert Whittaker in a quicker time than anybody else. I took down Robert Whittaker, I smashed him on the ground, and I cannot go out there and not believe in my coaches and in my team. They've promised me they'll get me here, and they got me here. And our style looks different, because I honestly believe it's the future of MMA. It's the next breed of style. It's the new hybrid style. I like to compare it to when Deodo Machida came in with his style. Everybody thought it was weird. What is this? It's not going to work. It worked for him.
Yeah, I love your style. Don't change it. It's obviously super effective. And
Thank you.
Yeah, man,
I appreciate that.
I love your attitude and your confidence with it.
Hey,
Don't change it.
Dricus, one thing I've really gained an appreciation for is your focus. Because after story time with Chris, you still managed to somehow remember what his question was. He spoke to you for about 2 minutes before he even asked the question. So your focus
It's
is
just fluid, man. I got the fluids back in. Now I can concentrate.
Yeah, your concentration, dude, is next level after going through that. But Dricus, my question to you is this. Can you approach Sean Strickland in that same manner? And do you have to put him on his heels? Because we saw when he was able to move forward against Adesanya, he was able to fight the best fight we've ever seen him fight in the octagon.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, credit to him for that. That was a very smart move from him and his team. I do have to give him the credit for going out there and fighting Adesanya the perfect way. That's exactly how I would have fought Adesanya. I just would have finished him when I put him on the ground, I think. But for Sean Strickland, what he did well is he fought that brilliantly because he played on Adesanya's false confidence of, I can knock this guy out on the back foot. And I honestly believe that was what Adesanya's thought process was, is he's going to walk into, because Sean Strickland goes forward. He doesn't blitz in, but he walks forward. And I honestly feel that Adesanya thought that he was going to walk into one of his big punches or one of his straight or hooks or kicks. And Strickland's awkward defense didn't allow that. And as the fight went on and on, Strickland gained confidence. And that was bad. That was bad for Adesanya. I will not let him settle in that rhythm. I will keep on disrupting. I will create the chaos, and I will win this fight.
When I watch your style, I see, when I really watch your style, I see somebody who's got the kickboxing ability. You've been doing it since you were 18, and you've said that. So you've got the traditional style. You've felt it before. You've competed against it. When I watch you, it looks like you've just added takedown defense and takedowns and elbows and knees to it. And that's what makes your style look so different, because it's not a conventional Muay Thai style. It's conventional Muay Thai, but also with the grappling mixed in. So you're hitting angles, switching stance, and you're circling. Is that how your style got built and looks so different, because you're adding different techniques to the Muay Thai that you've been doing for so long?
Yeah, I mean, that's why you are one of the best in the world, Mr. Dom. That's exactly it. A lot of people go, but you don't look like a K1 fighter the way you fight. Now, I was the first South African K1 WACO world champion. That's unheard of. And, you know, the level is extremely high at those world champs. And even there, I looked like the odd one out when I fought. But to answer your question, I tried that style in MMA in the beginning of my career because that was my style, the K1 style, throwing the big low kicks, you know, the blade low kicks, the punch to the hook to the body, big low kick, the blade. My leg got caught 9 times out of 10. I got put on my back, and that was the style, because it's too upright, trying to land these big one punches, because that's what K1 essentially is, standing in the pocket, throwing big low kicks, throwing big body kicks, and maybe 1 or 2 knees, but it's essentially who can take the most punches and who can give the hardest punches. And every time I ended up, my first 3 or 4 fights as a professional, I ended up on my back. And that's where you saw me. I had to lower my base, had to get my kicks quicker, had to, that style where you see, I had to put in the footwork for MMA, because I would have just kept on getting taken down, and that's where we ended up with this style. I added wrestling, I added grappling, and I added the stance to be lower in base, to be able to be ready for a takedown, or be ready to shoot for a takedown at any moment. I don't have to worry about first dropping level and then shooting. I'm ready to shoot at any moment.
All right, Dricus, before we let you go, I have to ask you for a prediction. How do things end here in Toronto on Saturday night in the main event?
Yeah, my honest opinion is I do think breaking down Sean might be a little bit, might take a little bit longer. It won't be harder, it just might take a little bit longer, because me as a fighter would try and be more patient. But, you know, like in the Whittaker fight, I felt extremely patient, but if I catch you, I'm going to go for you. I honestly believe I can finish this fight in the later round, the later minutes, last 2 minutes of the second round, most likely in the first half of the third round. I'm finishing the fight either by submission or TKO.
All right, looking for a finish from Dricus du Plessis. A win makes him the middleweight champion of the world. Dricus, good luck. Looking forward to watching you fight tomorrow night.
Thank you so much, gents. Great to be here. Cheers.
What a pleasant dude. Dricus du Plessis coming in, riding a 6-fight win streak, the longest win streak in the middleweight division. If he can get to 7, he will become the new middleweight champ. Here is a closer look at the South African, Dricus du Plessis.
In the heart of South Africa's largest city, UFC middleweight title challenger Dricus du Plessis attends a local MMA event hosted by the organization that shaped him.
Hello and welcome to the EFC Performance Institute in Johannesburg, South Africa for EFC 110. We've had some great fight cards this year, folks, but we are undoubtedly saving the best till last.
The EFC, this is the leading organization on the African continent.
Have a good one, guys. Enjoy it. Appreciate it.
I was double division champion in this organization, and they are doing absolutely incredible things for African and South African athletes to give them a base and give them a platform.
We just had my one teammate, Diego, get incredible first round head kick knockout.
Get that Anduk in. Get the Anduk. Anduk.
A walk-off knockout for Diego Bandu.
Diego, Pangaman. Dricus. Check this.
Well done, champ. That was amazing.
I met Dricus when he was 19 years old. We signed him into the organization, not really expecting where or how far he would go. We were giving him guys who had 19 to 20 fights when he was only 3 fights in with the organization. Every single time, he would just obliterate his opponent.
It feels like yesterday that I was in this exact same position, just fighting in this hexagon for the EFC title. And I'm finally getting that opportunity to become the #1 middleweight in the world.
Most of my athletes come to us with the idea of being the African champion. That's the most important thing for them, because once they know they're African champion, they can then segue to the UFC. And I know on the 20th, when he beats Strickland, this entire continent is going to explode.
To see me right there and then see me fighting for a world title, I know it would have inspired me.
You and Kapani, big matchup here, co-main event for the championship.
You know, if I can inspire somebody to really stop at nothing to become the best they can be, then that's a mission accomplished for me.
There's no way he gets out of this. No way he gets out tapping out. How insane is it that we've come this far where Mark Hume and Dricus du Plessis are celebrating together, and Dricus du Plessis has no doubt made Mark Hume that much better of a fighter.
What a way to end our year. The rest of the world can't compete with us. We're better than everybody. We work harder than everybody. And you have to kill us to beat us.
Still, it has been a fun year, and we'll see you in 2024.
Here's a look at the numbers for the South African Savage, Dricus du Plessis. He is high volume in terms of significant strikes, nearly 7 per minute, the highest weight in UFC middleweight history.
Most loved man on
Knockdowns
earth.
per 15 minutes, 3rd highest rate among active UFC middleweights. The accuracy is 6, and then 50% takedown percentage. We did have a special visitor from Tim Hortons dropping off some donuts, a Canadian staple here north of the border. But since we're focusing on Dricus du Plessis, I don't think he's having any of those today. Let's talk top 5 Africans in UFC history. Dom, since you're the newest, we're going to start with you.
We're going to go with Adesanya, #1.
Yeah.
And then Usman, Ngannou, Yusuf, Sadiq Yusuf, and Manal Cake. I'm going to go with it. Those are my 5.
Oh, that was good.
So you had Adesanya #1.
I do, yeah.
Okay. All right. DC?
I'm going to go with, at 5, either Manel Kopp or Cameron Simon. That kid's really good, and he's going to be really good down the line. I'm going to go Dricus, #4. I'm going to go Ngannou, Adesanya, and Usman. Now, Dricus, I understand it's early, but you got to remember, only a few years ago, we never had an African champion. So it's not like we have a long history of really high-level, great African fighters. So I think a guy fighting for the belt makes the list.
All right.
Weidman?
Going from 5 down to 1, I go with Sadiq Yusuf as number 5. Number 4.
Do you want to make any eye contact with the camera while you're
Number 4, I'm going Du Plessis. Okay, we have it over here. Where is it? Okay.
He's got Du Plessis number 1.
Well, that's not the right order.
I mean, this guy got Du Plessis
I'm doing the right
number
order
1.
right now. So then we got Du Plessis, then we got Usman, then I got Nagano, and then I got Adesanya.
Wait, why do you have Dricus at number 1? You can't just change it.
I don't have Dricus at number 1. When I sent it, I just sent it in. I didn't know it was in order.
Chris.
You know what I mean? So I just had to put it in order.
I kind of agree with that sentiment, the order thing. Like, I kind of didn't know there's an order. You just top 5.
Thank you,
They're
Dominic.
all kind of equal in the 5, right? Like,
No, they're not all equal.
Man, you try to come at me. Dominic's got my back.
African, you're from Africa. What makes you more top 5? Like, number 1 versus 5. Like,
why wouldn't I on any of those lists?
What makes a number 5 African versus a number 1 African, DC?
Well, accomplishments, just like whatever is the best accomplishments. Who's the most accomplished African?
Like, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah,
like,
it's like, how does this work?
I got to go with him on this one, though. I just didn't know we were going to be doing that for homework. But Sadiq Yusuf is obviously not on the same level. He's 13-3. He's got a great record. I did look that up. But he's not comparable at this point to an Adesanya. Or
as an
Francis
African.
Ngannou.
As an African.
No, as an African fighter.
Okay.
It's not just about
African
the
fighter.
greatest African.
Right,
it's MMA fighters.
Oh my God. This guy.
All right, so we have the.
He's just the greatest white guy.
Context matters, okay?
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this, because you've all carried something, right? Like when you were in the UFC along with Frankie Edgar, you were kind of carrying the tri-state region. You know, DC was carrying the flag for a while for great wrestlers who were fighters in the UFC. You carried a division for a long time. You were the guy in the division. What is it like, though, to carry a country? Can you imagine the burden it is to be
gift. That's a gift. You kidding me? That's pay-per-view sales.
I mean, pressure is
Look
a
at
privilege,
Bisping.
right?
Like, Bisping is a great example.
Oh
He's got so many people because he's got all of his country on his back. They follow him anywhere he goes. Look at Conor McGregor. They follow him anywhere he goes. Look at South Africans. They follow them anywhere they go. It's like you got the whole country. When you're from America, they're basketball fans.
Just
they're
basketball,
baseball fans. They're football, baseball. There's too much to do.
We don't get the fans in the way that they are for like those football teams. Yeah, it's like regional.
It's just different.
We care about a state, right? Like if I live in Louisiana, I love the Saints and I love the Saints.
Exactly.
Everybody else can kind of go to hell.
Yep. New York fans, the same thing. If you're from New York, it's not about America, it's about New York.
World Cup,
country.
We care about soccer a little bit. During the Olympic Games, we care.
Yeah,
That's all we do as a country.
It's a couple times every 4 years.
Every 4 years. Well, it's like every 2, right? Because you got the Olympics, then 2 years later you got the...
you got the Winter Olympics, too. Yeah. So just between those two Olympics.
So, no. The World Cup.
Yeah.
I remember one time Anderson Silva fought Chris.
Yep.
And they handed out American flags and Brazilian flags.
On 4th of July weekend.
On 4th of July weekend, and this kid comes out.
Great point.
Bro, this kid comes out carrying an American flag called the All-American.
With Tom Petty
With Tom Petty playing in the background, and he got booed.
I didn't hear the
And a Brazilian dude walked out there.
With those ears.
I thought they loved me.
He got cheered.
Well,
it was crazy.
That is crazy. It's Anderson Silva. But by the way,
doesn't matter.
Conor McGregor is going to fight Michael Chandler in Las Vegas.
And he's going to get
This is the thing with Conor McGregor. He's Irish, right? There's like 3 million people in Ireland, okay? So that's not that many people. But it's like 75% of all white people in America consider themselves Irish because they have like 25% Irish and whatever. So all of a sudden you got Conor McGregor, who has the gift of the gab, talking all this trash, and so I got 25% Irish in me. Let's go, Conor McGregor! Let's go! And so he has so many American fans because everyone kind of considers themselves Irish.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
What are you, Scottish?
I'm Norwegian and English.
Okay. Yeah, you would jump on the bandwagon.
No.
You had Conor.
You could, though, if you wanted to.
I mean, I could make it up.
Yeah.
I can make it up.
It would fit. You would fit the script.
You should.
Skin white.
Yeah, no.
Your skin show white.
Either way, the question was, I would take the pressure of having a whole country having my back any day because that's a whole lot of money.
It's a lot of money. It really does well.
Yeah, no, that's the way you want it. You want a country behind you. It's not more pressure, more money. I'll take
100%.
it. Come on.
Let's
All
go.
right, we did top
There's
5
pressure anyway. There's
top
tons of
5
pressure.
Africans in UFC history. Let's talk top 5 middleweights of all time. All right?
Oh, yeah. Let's do that. That's like nice.
Surprise.
Yo, what's up, RJ?
We've talked about this before, but, Izzy's lost now, so maybe that changes things a little bit. Let's start with the former middleweight champ, Chris Weidman.
All right, I'm trying to find it here. Okay. This is the thing. If I'm going by top 5 middleweights in UFC history based on credentials, not based on who I think was the best at the time when they were in their prime, I'm going with this based on credentials.
Did you feel like
in my head, credentials are winning the championship and then how many times you retain the title, defend the title. So that being said, Anderson Silva, number 1. He had 10 title defenses. Adesanya at number 2, he had 5 title defenses. Weidman, number 3, with 3 title defenses. Rich Franklin with 2. Bisping with 1. That would be my top 5 if we're going off of what I would consider credentials. If I was going off of who I think is the best, it's a different discussion. Obviously, I'm number 1.
No, that's DC.
I think Chris Weidman in his prime, with his heavy hands on his feet, his granite chin, his athletic ability, durability.
Speaking in the third person.
High-level wrestling with high-level jiu-jitsu was a nightmare matchup for everybody on that list.
Speaking of chins, which chin now would hold up stronger on you?
What chin?
He said you have multiple
you're saying I have multiple chins. So let's just fill everybody in on how this day started. Dominic Cruz, I haven't seen him in a while. It's his first time on the weigh-in show. I'm over here hanging out. We're talking. We're messing around. All of a sudden, he looks at me in the background. He goes, "You look like Peter Griffin."
Dude, I go, the smile and the dimples, man. You're killing me. And the accent. Like,
that's not cool, man. That is not nice. That's not the way to help my confidence.
Let's get on track.
Show.
I'm sorry. I meant that with love. Number
you're
1.
Short.
I'll take it. You know what?
Let's see how you handle that one.
I'll just take it. I've been saying that to Alpha Male for years.
He's got lifts in his shoes.
Oh, my God.
Dude, come on.
Guys.
He's Peter Griffin, he's Brian.
Give me a break. Listen, number 1, Adesanya. That's my number 1.
He's going past
all right, you guys got to hate on me because I'm short, right? Okay, got it.
You're good
We'll
looking.
take it. Adesanya's number 1. Yoel Romero, number 2. You're on my list, by the way, Chris.
Thank God.
But I didn't know that it was in order, so you're at the bottom. I'm just going to start with that.
Can you explain how you're coming up with this list? Is it based on what? Credentials? Who you think was the best in their primes? Or like?
Well, this is best top 5 in middleweight UFC history. So like throughout history, right? So these are the best guys to me for their style. I like their style.
Okay,
and how they've shown up. You know what I mean? So Adesanya, number 1, his style and the amount of title defenses is unseen. Yoel Romero, just one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I can't help it. He's just
I had Yoel
unbelievable.
Romero in my top 5 of who I think was the best in their prime.
He's unbelievable. He's a freak of nature. And he beat one of my favorite wrestlers, Cael Sanderson. So.
I'll give you my 5. I'll give you my
Wait, I'm not done.
He's not even
Rich
done.
Franklin, you gotta let me finish. Rich Franklin is number 3. Chris Weidman is number 4, and Mousasi number 5. Because I think Mousasi was underrated.
You putting Rich Franklin over me?
I mean, he was there before you, and he fought Anderson Silva before you.
I was there before Adesanya.
And you guys, well, yeah, but Adesanya has way more title defenses.
Oh, so but if we're going by title defenses, I got more title defenses.
But Rich
than
Franklin was a teacher. He gave back to the community.
Yo, Dom.
I got 3 kids. I get back to the community.
You guys are so.
Yeah, exactly. Rich Franklin's shorter than me, so he went with Rich Franklin.
You guys
he goes with the shorter guy.
I don't like this bullying.
I liked Rich Franklin. That was my era. Okay, that was when Hughes was around and stuff, and BJ Penn. That was a good era.
You're not that old.
All right, guys.
You're not that old.
List?
You're not Rich Franklin.
Yeah, please get my list.
Yeah, do your list, DC.
Okay, so my list is a hybrid. Accomplishments and talent and fighting style.
That's cheating.
At number 5 for me,
He's got 6.
I had
You
a tie.
cheated.
I had Rockhold and Romero.
Just because you're friends with Rockhold, you had to put 6.
Dude, I had Rockhold and Romero because Luke Rockhold, for his talent level, was as good as anybody. Like, he could have been, he just didn't have the mentality.
But you didn't put Bisping on there.
Yoel Romero. Yeah, I didn't.
Well, if you think about what are we putting Bisping on there for?
And then here,
if we're going like he was never
him versus Rockhold.
But he was never.
but Rockhold
it was
also
the biggest
beat him.
upset in. It was the biggest upset in like
Rockhold
UFC.
beat him too.
True.
Title.
I got Robert Whitaker. I got Adesanya, Weidman, and Silva. The reason I got Chris over Adesanya is because I do believe that if not for injury and if not for, Luke Rockhold, he would have had that belt for a long time. And talent level, I think your talent level exceeds Adesanya by far. And I think that at the right time, you would have been a champion for much longer. That's why I had him at 2.
I had Adesanya on top just because he defended more times as champion than a lot of champions.
No, I get it. But like I said, mine was a hybrid. I had a hybrid list of accomplishments
DC likes me
and
better than
talent.
Dominic likes me.
hybrid means he can make up whatever the hell he wants, and you can't say,
Peter
well, let's go get your
Peter
criteria.
Griffin is one of my favorite
fair.
characters in cartoons, so that goes to you.
I love Anderson Silva as number one because of all the title defenses he had, but at the end of the day, I'm looking, if we're picking based on like who's winning in their primes, was Anderson Silva when he in his prime when I beat him? I don't know, maybe not. But was he in his prime when he beat Chael Sonnen? Maybe.
Yeah.
Because when but Chael Sonnen kind of beat him the whole fight up until getting
Anderson
submitted.
Silva was in his prime before you fought him, and he was out of his prime after you.
That you ruined.
So you think
ended the prime.
You think he was in his prime?
Part of the
You ended
prime
the
is
prime.
USADA. Part of the prime is USADA.
You think so?
I do. I think that's part of the prime.
I did
Look
hear
at Renan Barao's record after USADA came in.
Well, speaking of
Wait, with
USADA,
Anderson Silva, you're saying?
Well, in
For the
general,
same weight?
yeah, for
All
the weight
Brazilians.
classes. Yeah, a lot of top guys. I think that I added USADA into the mix of how I chose.
well, speaking of USADA, my top 5, I have number 5, Vitor Belfort, because the 2013 version of Vitor was the pound-for-pound greatest fighter of all time.
Well, talking about USADA.
But this is pre-USADA.
See,
Vitor
what
fighting
this-
in Brazil is the greatest fighter of all
See,
time.
Dom? No,
You're
you
not.
stop.
Luke Rockhold would
So that's
agree with
kind of
you.
why I added it, because I have
I
a jacket. I
love
don't know
that
if you
you
know,
added
I have
that.
a jacket.
Me too.
So
Me too.
it's like,
Me
you know,
too.
I was
And
the only
I'm
person
with
that
you
got.
on that.
I'm the only person that got
I'm 100% with you.
test jacket.
why are those not? Why is that
Did you get a
not?
jacket?
I got 100 test jacket.
Really? They
How
must
about
have-
we
they
don't?
must
None
have
of
thought
us
you
get
were-
jackets because USADA's gone now.
I still have my jacket.
2024, it's
Hold
gone.
on to that. You could sell that one day.
Yeah,
for a
you're
lot
Who
of
just
money.
got their jacket this week?
Du Plessis,
Dricus
Du
got,
Plessis.
that's right. It's a 50 test jacket. We're still going to do it. It's not a USADA jacket. It's just a 50 test jacket.
But the USADA one's going to be special edition and worth money now.
You get a Speedo if you make weight every time. So
It is.
he's not going to.
I'll take it. It's like the old. It's like having the
Number
old belt.
4, Robert Whitaker. Good everywhere.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
Number 3, the All-American Chris Weidman just posted
you.
his Galval video on his Instagram. That's when we kind of knew you're something special.
You know, it takes 5 hours to digest a
2,
donut.
Israel Adesanya.
5 hours.
And number 1, Anderson Silva. No question. Easy.
I'm just curious, RJ.
Yes.
In Chris Weidman, Israel Adesanya.
Do you want to chew swallow or do
Chris
you want to?
Weidman, Israel Adesanya, and Anderson Silva, all in their prime. Who's winning? Do you think Adesanya's beating Weidman, Anderson Silva's beating Weidman in their primes?
In their primes, Vitor Belfort beats all of them if you're in 2013.
You know,
Come on, you remember that? Vitor in Brazil in 2013. Wheel kicking. First
But I
person
beat
knocked out
Anderson Silva. You just said I beat him in his prime.
You did.
So then why is he ahead of me?
Because he has
10
more
title
child defenses.
All right,
and
that's
beat
we're
more
going
guys.
off that standard. I just want to get the standards right.
Hey,
I
Dominic.
love when Weidman talks about himself in third person here.
Hey, Dom, do you know it takes 5
does RJ.
hours to
RJ loves it.
digest a donut?
I'd never heard that. Where'd you
Dom
learn?
said it
Where
took
did you
5
learn
hours to digest a donut.
that? It's true, but
But he eats it so fast
That's
he cuts
so
the
good.
time.
you
in
did
half.
half though, so I'd say 2.5 hours.
It takes DC less than 5 milliseconds to inhale half of a donut. I wish
Bro,
somebody
you had
that
2
on camera.
donuts. You
I
had
had one
you had
donut.
2 donuts the moment the camera went
Did
off.
you eat that whole thing already?
No, I put it back.
Look at that. One bite, half
No,
the donut.
he had
gone.
half of it.
DC split it just because
I
we
had
were
a
on
quarter of
TV.
it.
He wanted
Yeah,
the
yeah.
whole thing.
That is a good donut, though.
I noticed that none of you guys obviously had Strickland or du Plessis for good reason on those lists, but long term, which one of those guys is more likely to make that list?
I don't know, man.
Who has a shot? Who has a better chance?
Between those two?
Well, Strickland, I would say right now because actually, I don't know. Du Plessis has the win over Whitaker. And Strickland has
There's
the
a
win over
guy named-
Adesanya. So they already got 2 big legends on their belt.
There was a Hamzat Chimaev, bro, in the weight class, and there's like it's the hardest weight class. There's so many good guys. Like,
Well, they're all hard weight classes,
I really don't believe that we're gonna have 10, 15 title defense reigns anymore. Those days are done.
I think they're
Okay, so I
done,
guess
too.
then
do.
what you have to ask yourself is which one of these guys has the ability to defend 2, 3, 4 times, which would put them on the list, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really do that.
In that
Because he's
weight
a
class, I don't think they're that.
Dom and I
they're
can't.
that
Dom and I can't do
dominant.
that because then it'd be like picking. If we say Strickland, we're saying he's going to win this weekend.
And 3 in a row,
Listen,
too.
I'll go.
on
I'll
top
just
of that.
because I'm allowed to. I'm not one of the commentators on the desk. I'll just pick one. It's a hard one. I'll go with. Let me just go with Strickland because Strickland is he's grown so much over the last few years. Watching when he's came back from losses, even looking back when he was at welterweight, losing to Usman the way he did, and the way he lost to Pereira. Then he goes to train with Pereira. He's got Johnny Eblin in his camp getting ready for this fight. He's kind of doing all the right things to put himself in uncomfortable situations, and that is the marking of a champion. And I just so based on all that, I'm gonna give him.
Can I ask you guys a question though? Like,
sure.
Do we have to really adjust what is a great title run now because of how talented the fighters are? So if a guy like Leon Edwards, he's beaten Usman, he's beaten Covington, and he won the belt. Can we now say Leon Edwards has had a great title run because of the amount of fighters that are so talented in his division? If he defends one more time, is that is that a title run that will be remembered? Because that means he has to get through guys like Bilal, he has to get through guys like
but you got to remember that they all have different tools that we had back then to create that reign. So like there's more things to use to become a champion than there ever was when we were trying to become
but then the
more
challengers
gyms,
are
more
doing it
training
too.
partners.
But I'm not even saying that.
Coaches.
No, but also one other thing to think about is the grooming that happens now.
Yeah, there's more
materials. There was no grooming. No, I'm saying grooming as far as like, I'll use my name in third person again. Chris Weidman, when he came into the UFC, he fought whoever the best next guy is immediately. Now you have guys like Bo Nickel coming in where they kind of get groomed until they're ready to be on that level. So it's easier, maybe an easier path to the title. Look at Pereira.
But you can't keep it.
There was no running away from wrestlers back in the day.
You guys were everybody was in their 20s. Dom was in his 20s. John was in his 20s. You were in your 20s. Guys are winning belts now. They're like 30 years old.
Well, 32, 34.
Yeah, but I think it's going to get
Edwards.
younger, though. I think it's going to be even 18.
But then
17,
I believe that
like young.
Think about like college wrestling now. College wrestlers, there's high school kids beating college.
Yeah, but I believe
national
because of
champions.
that. But I believe because of that, though, because of that, it'll be harder to have a sustained run.
No, it's going to be. They have more tools to their disposal.
I disagree. Look at Sugar Sean O'Malley. Sugar Sean O'Malley.
You think
he should be fighting? He should be fighting Merab Dvalishvili. Instead, hey, there's a fun fight that people are going to want to watch and pay a lot of money. It comes down to money. This is a public traded company now. Let's have him fight Chito Vera. A guy
but how long before he has to fight Merab, though? If he gets
he might not have to.
Now you might not have to.
There's no way you cannot fight
They put him against Henry Cejudo. They put him against Henry Cejudo.
The thing is, he's got one fight. Bro, he's got one fight. I think that we got to adjust it. I think if a guy gets to like 5 defenses, you got to be like, wow, this guy is one of the best.
But didn't we just say like the Sugar Sean O'Malley
out the division? That used to have to happen before you could go to another weight class.
10,
you always
11,
fought the number 1 guy.
9,
That's changed.
I don't think that's
after
happening
you
no more.
clean out your division, you can go to another weight class, I think, and win a belt. But that used to be what you needed to do. Now you got guys, because of Conor, winning 1 title and going, I should move up, and because it's easier to do that than stay in your weight class where guys have been studying you and being ready for you. You want to leave the weight class to go to another weight class. So it's easier to do that than it is to clean out the division.
What is cleaning out? Is that
beating the top 5 in your division?
Top 5. So
but the top 5 is always shifting. So what is
more?
What would we consider?
More,
what would we consider a great title reign now? How many defenses?
Beating the top 5.
But how many
in your
defenses?
division.
4.
Clean out the division.
I don't think there's a number. Yeah, clean out the best
clean
guys.
out the best guys in the division.
Clean out the true number 1 contenders.
Clean out the
true number 1 contenders.
I cleaned out the top 5.
Volk is at what now? 7, 8?
Yeah.
In the division.
Is Volk at 7 in this division?
I think he's
5.
I think it's
he's
6 or 7.
Think about that. 5. He's like 5.
You cleaned out your division
for as good
too.
as he is, but it doesn't matter though.
It does.
Listen, I'm saying that because of the level of talent in mixed martial arts, even if Sean Strickland, say he wins this weekend and he wins one more time, that has to be a title defense that we recognize as a great title run.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Each
the talent
has
rises.
its own thing.
If the talent rises with the up and comers, the talent rises with the champions.
That's what I'm saying.
It's all the same thing.
I don't think it's easier, Dom, because there's so much more tools at their disposal. Because everybody has.
It makes it harder.
It evens it out. It evens out.
That's
it's not
why
harder
it's harder
or less
to make.
hard. No, it's
But that's why it's harder to have a sustained
because
run.
you're telling me that winning
it's
a
the
title.
same thing, DC.
It's the same because BJ Penn winning a title is not easier than you winning a title now because we're now. Like the timelines adjust.
The
with
champions
the tools
are better.
That are there.
All right, listen. You're saying the contenders now are better now. Okay.
And the champions are better.
Okay, I agree. But the champions are just as better. They improve just as much.
It's the level of the timeline.
So if they're on the same level as the contenders, everything kind of goes up together.
Run, right? On that run. Let me tell you something. I give Jones a lot of crap because of him and I's history. Jones fought everybody. There were guys on Anderson Silva's resume on that long run. There were guys like Damian Maia, and they had guys on BJ Penns where he fought guys like
Chris Lieben, you talking about?
Yeah. Jose Aldo, when he won all those fights, fought Mark Hominick, and all. They're all kind of. I fought Volkan Ozdemir. There were like these random title defenses with guys that today would never get there.
But I will say this.
I don't agree with that.
Because at that time, hang on.
I think they would.
Hang on, Dominic. Now we look back and you look at Mark. Is it Mark Hominick?
Hominick, yeah.
Well, Hominick. Now you look at him because of how his career finished up. Like, oh, he wasn't that good. But at that time, he was. He was the number one legit contender.
Exactly.
You can't look at what happened afterwards.
But I'm saying
you have to look at what happened in the moment.
Yes, I get it. But I'm just trying to understand what's a great title run now.
Clean out your
because
division.
I don't believe that they're going to be guys that get to 8, 9. They just said that Volkanovski has like 4. And we're calling him the greatest featherweight of all time.
He cleaned out the division.
But this has happened with
he
Khabib,
beat
too.
everybody
This is
in the
another.
top
You throw
5.
Khabib in there. How many title defenses do you have?
2,
I think
3.
2 or 3?
Max.
2, 3? And he's considered the GOAT
of all time.
But why is that? He had the biggest fights. He had Conor McGregor in his weight class. He had Dustin Poirier in his weight class.
He didn't really clean out the division.
He didn't clean out the division.
That's my issue with that.
And listen, everyone loves Khabib.
Beat
Nobody
the
wants
best guys in your division and stay there. And those guys are prepared for you. That's why it's the hardest.
Yeah.
They're preparing for you. I fought guys that were preparing for me since they were 10 years old. By the time I fought them, they're 26 years
100%.
old. It's a different look that they have of you.
Volkat's 5, bro.
100%.
Volkat's 5.
That's why I think it's the best
and
way
he
to
is
judge.
considered the man.
I think it always has to be judged by title defenses because I think that's the hardest thing to do.
Well, and I would say, how many did you have? 2?
3.
I
That
think
was a great title
3.
run.
Once you get to 3,
it's a great title run.
Were you going to say 2 if I had 2? You're like
probably. I like you. I probably would have said 2, but I do think 3. He was saying 4, but I think 3. Anything
4.
over 2 is
because like now I just don't. I think those days are done. I think the days of 8, 9 done.
Yeah, because no heavyweight has had a sustained run.
More than 3.
And it's because they changed weight classes so much now.
I agree.
Even
they're switching. Yeah, Sean.
Strickland, they're looking at Pereira.
O'Malley's trying to move up after
Dricus,
this. Instead of staying in the weight class, he's trying to move up. It's like, stay where you're at.
bringing a lot of money.
Clean out the division.
I love this
Build your.
conversation.
It's the money.
I love
Build
these types
your
of
division.
conversations.
These are great conversations.
These are my because I want I gotta know.
I think it's the guy's responsibility and the champion's responsibility to build their division and make it better. Build for the guys in your division. If you're leaving the division to go over here, you're trying to escape something.
Hey, let me say this.
100%.
Sean O'Malley defends that belt 3 times. It'll be one of the greatest bantamweight runs of all time because of the people that he would have to beat. Sandhagen, Merab, Umar. If he's able to go through Cheeto and then win 3 more times, that will be one of the greatest runs in bantamweight history.
Or does he
with
fight?
beating
Or
out
does he?
Jason
You're taking away from the guys who did that earlier. And that's not,
no, but I'm not saying.
true.
I'm just saying that his
I
run
agree.
would be amazing.
But what's going to happen actually? Or is he going to fight Cheeto Vera, win that fight, and then try to fight Ilia Topuria if he ends up winning Volkan?
That's what I mean.
Volkan?
People aren't
like
staying
they'll
in the
leave
weight
the weight
anymore.
class.
Guys aren't doing
I'm
that.
just with
They're
my
not cleaning out the
my
division.
point being, if these guys can put together this, Sean Strickland beats this guy. Who would he have next? Possibly Hamzat. And then who would he have if he beats Hamzat? I mean, who's next?
Yeah,
there are just
that's a
such
clean
talented
out.
guys that if he beats those guys after beating Adesanya, you're looking at Sean Strickland going, wow, man, this dude had a run.
Well, when you look, if Dricus du Plessis can pull off the upset here, that would certainly shake things up in the division because then potentially you run that back, right? Strickland's already coming off one of the great title fight upsets in UFC history against Israel Adesanya, which brings us to our top 3 title fight upsets. DC, let's start with you on this.
I'll start at number 3. I got either Holly Holm beating Ronda Rousey, because remember when Ronda Rousey was thought to be, or Juliana when she got Amanda. Those are like crazy upsets. At number 2, when Bisping beat Rockhold, just because of what had happened the first time they fought, Rockhold dominated him. And Luke went into Los Angeles thinking it was going to be a walk in the park. Michael Bisping had something to say about that. I believe that Sean Strickland beating Israel Adesanya is the greatest upset in UFC history. I know that Ronda was the biggest favorite to lose, or Amanda. I didn't even put Ronda up there. I had both. But the way Sean Strickland beat Israel Adesanya, a guy that we knew for striking and just shut him out. I mean, he pitched a shutout. It would be like watching those baseball games back in the day when Nolan Ryan would just be on fire and nobody could ever touch his balls. That's what Sean Strickland did, and he went over there to do it. That was the greatest upset to me in title fight history. But Peña Nunes.
Not by the odds, though, right?
Peña Nunes, by the odds, would be Peña Nunes.
It's pretty good. Chris?
All right, my top 3. What do we have those rankings up there? Let me see. All right. All right, number one, I don't think there's a question. Matt Serra versus George St. Pierre. Matt Serra had just won the Ultimate Fighter show. Who did he beat? Chris Lytle? Chris Lytle in the Ultimate Fighter finale. Nobody was giving him a chance. My man from Long Island, and since that, we've had tons of Long Island champions because of him kind of being the trailblazer for us New York guys. At number two, Holly Holm beating Ronda Rousey. At this time, man, Ronda Rousey completely obliterated anybody that she went against. And then to be finished, was it the first or second round? What round did she get finished in with Holly Holm? She got head kicked to another, I think it was the second round. Gets head kicked in Australia. That was crazy. And number three, Bisping versus Rockhold. If you remember, I was actually supposed to fight Rockhold in a rematch, and it was in June. I had 2 weeks before, I hurt my neck really bad, had to get surgery, and then Michael Bisping jumped in. Michael Bisping, I would love to know what he was ranked at that time. He was not a top contender. He wasn't a guy who was really looking to be fighting for the belt anytime soon. We had the same management company. So my management company knew I was injured. Boom, Bisping got the shot, I think, quicker than anybody else because it was such a short notice fight, and he made the most of it. He got crushed by Rockhold in their first fight. Nobody thought he had a chance. So that was a huge upset, huge Cinderella story for Bisping.
Rockhold on my flight out here. Looks like he could still fight.
What was that?
I said Rockhold was on my flight out here. Looks like he could still fight. Looking good. He was 6th ranked, by the way.
He was
Bisping
6th
ranked
so.
6, yeah.
Okay.
All right, I like your list. I agree with your list. Here's my list. Sarah against GSP. I think that has to be number one. Technically, if you want to go by the numbers, this was the second biggest upset of all time. Sarah was a minus 820-ish dog, I believe, plus 820 underdog, and he caught Pierre with that right hook and right past the midway point in the first round to get that win. All right, number two, Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey, plus 830 dog was Holly Holm in this one. And this was peak Ronda Rousey. This was when people who were not UFC fans were watching Ronda Rousey because she was that much of a household name, and she is stunned by Holly Holm. And then Rockhold Bisping. Listen, Bisping, ranked 6, comes off a movie set. He had, 10 days notice to get ready for this fight? Like, the storyline.
And one of the only way that he could win. He had to knock him out. If they went long fight, he would have got beat.
Crazy. And Bisping was not known for his hand power, which is crazy.
He started calling himself left hook Larry.
Like pillow hands and all this stuff.
And then old Luke was acting like a sore loser at the press conference. That was bad.
Well, Rockhold went in that fight like Bisping was a joke to him. You know what I mean? Like, he had no respect to Bisping at all, and Bisping felt that, and he wanted to let this dude know, like, F you. That was fun.
That was incredible.
Perry did the same thing. Perry did the same thing to Rockhold in that. In like the same type of fight.
Why are they still fighting him? Why do you fight him in bare knuckle?
I know, that was
He's going
crazy.
to kill you.
Rocco was like, what am I doing here?
Yeah. That was so crazy when you think that fight was crazy.
Like, I don't think Rocco is like a
Stop.
or anything like that.
Yo, leave Rocco alone, man.
In an MMA fight, he's not just giving up like that. But in the bare knuckle fighting, he goes, "What the hell am I doing here, bro? This ain't for me. Get me the hell out of here."
That face pays
right
the bills,
when they
man.
tipped his tooth, he said, "Not the tooth."
Yeah, not his teeth, man.
Bro, his jaw got pushed back.
I don't blame him. That looked horrible. I won't do that. That looks horrible. Why would anybody take those fights? All right, my list. Sorry, number 3. I'll start at the bottom. This is number 3 because I just was insane to me. Conor versus Aldo.
Yes.
I say that one because
that was an upset.
It was an upset. Because everybody thought it would go longer. The reason it tripped me out is how it happened. It wasn't just that he won. It was like that quick. Like
I would love
that
to know the
punch,
odds on that.
That counter.
If it was a crazy odds fight or not.
It was an upset.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me, Rich Franklin versus Silva, and this is why. Because Rich Franklin was on a run, knocking people out, and Anderson Silva at this time was just crossing over to the UFC from Pride. So nobody knew who he was really, not at this level that he's at now. He was just a guy coming in to fight the champ who was awesome and defended the title and knocking people out. And he went out there and demolished Rich Franklin. Shattered his nose, kneed him in the face 1,000 times. He literally couldn't get out of a clinch, couldn't get out of it. It looked simple for him, and he just crushed him. And then number 1, I'm with you, GSP versus Matt Serra. You can't. I mean, that was insane to watch that punch land and him follow up, and just seeing Matt Serra so happy at the end alone, like
doing the cart with a one-arm cartwheel.
Dude, that was an awesome time.
How about honorable mention? According to the odds, TJ Dillashaw, Renan Barao, the 4th biggest.
Somebody
upset.
asked me yesterday, is Renan Barao like Hall of Fame and all this other stuff? Look at what he was thought to be and look at TJ Dillashaw.
He was the GOAT.
Yes,
Dana White was actually called him the
that
GOAT of
was
MMA.
crazy the way Renan Barao was
Yo,
viewed.
but let's talk about TJ Dillashaw. I know you'll probably remember this. When TJ Dillashaw was fighting Renan Barao, the build-up, I think it might have been embeddeds or whatever thing they were doing at that time. It was a long time ago. He was like hitting pads on the plane. He was hitting pads everywhere he went. This guy had energy for days.
He was on the
like. You think he was on?
He was
something?
on the bag carousel.
Well,
like
this was also pre-USADA.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Like
this,
that
and I was on the desk commentating about these guys, saying, "Yeah, they're so great. They got the best kicks, the best punches ever. I could never beat them." And I knew I was going to go in there and have to fight them, and that was a tough time. Let me tell you.
TJ Dillashaw might have
I was
been one of
lying
the
through my teeth. I knew I was going to smash him.
Yo, no, are you kidding me? That fight with TJ Dillashaw against Renan Barao, I looked at TJ Dillashaw like he was the best fighter of all time.
During that time, it was crazy. Yeah.
Switching from
What was that?
Southport,
That
from
was what?
Orthodox.
That was what?
That was, what do you mean?
Like
pre-USADA.
Yeah.
And I fought him,
What year was that?
Right before, that whole thing went up, and then 2014.
2014.
Is that Vegas? So
I was on the same fight
I don't know about
USADA
you.
started
I have to say
2015.
something. So USADA started in 2015, but when you were fighting for title fights in Las Vegas, I was getting randomly drug tested.
Yeah, me
Were
too.
You guys, I got randomly
but
drug tested.
But it's not USADA testing.
It's
but
not
yeah,
USADA.
It's a different level. That's why we
you
get
got
a jacket.
randomly drug
I got
tested?
randomly
I got
drug
tested
tested at
every
my
time.
house.
Every title fight I
No, I never got
tested.
random. One time though. If you ever got tested, it was one time. It
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah.
It was
Day of
like
the
you got
fight.
tested. No.
For me, the day of the fight.
Yes, after the fight.
Oh,
you
I know. I got tested at my
Before
house.
and after the fight.
I got tested from Las Vegas at my house.
You know who I think? Oh, we have
Sean
another
Woodson.
weigh-in. We still got a
Maybe.
couple.
I mean, I forgot we're doing the weigh-in.
Sean Woodson.
Yo, Sean Woodson, this dude's a beast. So he fought my boy Dennis Bazooka in his
that
last
cut
fight.
hurt.
It looks
Look
like
at
he's
him.
definitely in pain
That
right now
cut
from
hurt.
this weight cut.
Man, people have no idea
He
what we
is-
feel like right here. Just so you guys know, we can barely stand up.
Oh yeah,
eyes are all red, bro.
and he's
dead
a
right
big
now.
dude for this weight class.
Oh, giant.
So long.
So long. And lanky.
145 and a half,
Wow,
the
he
official
made
weight
it.
He
for
made it.
Sean
He made it.
Woodson.
Half pound light.
He made
Good thing the
championship
scale's
weight.
light. Yo, this guy is a problem on the feet. He's got such long appendages. He reminds me of the aliens from
Dawson.
Independence Day.
Oh,
you know those
Dawson.
long-legged and long-armed.
Dawson on Street Fighter. Remember Dawson?
Yo, he fought my guy Bazooka.
that
I would
is
not
what
want to
he's
fight
like.
him.
You're
He's
right.
a problem. He's just awkward.
Mackenzie Pavicic here
Hey.
with us
Hey,
to
guys.
talk a little food, right? When you're talking exports for Canada, you have hockey, you have GSP, and poutine, right? You found a good poutine spot.
We did. We found Smokes. It's the OG of Poutinery. It's Dominic. I know this is the first time you're joining me, on the weigh-in show, and I know you're a bit of a health nut, so I think this one will be right up your alley. Poutine is an incredible Canadian delicacy, and like I said, we found the best spot for it earlier this week.
Well, guys, Toronto is exactly as advertised, very cold. And I think we can all agree that we need some warming, comforting food. So lucky for us, we found Smokes Poutinery, the OG of poutine. And today, we're going to try it out. Mark Cunningham of Smokes Poutinery, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Welcome to Smokes Poutinery.
Thank you. I'm very excited to dive in. I've been thinking about poutine all week, the whole flight here. So you want to walk me through how we make it?
Yes, let's start with the most important ingredients. Our 50-pound bag of Prince Edward Island potatoes, specially grown for Smoke himself. Prince Edward Island obviously grows the best potatoes here in Canada, but the base to our great poutine. This is our automatic potato cutter that cuts a 50-pound bag of potatoes in about 3.5 minutes. We'll flip it on.
Okay, so you just toss them in there, and it does the work for you. I like this. I grew up with the manual potato cutter.
As you can see, fresh cut fried, ready to go, ready to do our blanching.
So here we are.
Here we are. We've got a bin of blanched fries. So we blanched them for 4.5 minutes, cooled and refrigerated. Now we're ready for production. We're coast to coast in Canada, from Vancouver to Newfoundland. So we're in stadiums, arenas, college, university campuses, zoos, amusement parks. And the restaurant we're in today is kind of our four-wall traditional location.
So our fries might be getting near done.
Getting finished right now.
Beautiful golden color. Love that.
With love.
Season with your heart. Give it a nice smash. That's some skill right there.
Yeah.
You've done this a couple times.
Now I'm going to hand you off to Paul and make your own poutine.
Love it. All right, well, Paul, I know that you're the toppings master of smokes. Something that makes this Poutinery different than others is that it was the first to let you customize.
Right.
I love the idea of customizing some poutine, but I've been thinking about this all week. I think I just want the traditional.
Right. Okay, so you guys already take care of the fresh cut fries.
Love it.
So we're going to put some squeaky Quebec cheese curd on top. And then some piping hot gravy.
And this is a chicken gravy?
This is chicken-based, yeah.
Chicken-based gravy. That looks amazing. My mouth is watering, so I need to immediately go try this. Paul, thank you.
That's right.
All right, well, the moment of truth. I can't wait to try this, but we've got some others here. What are these?
We made some small ones for you. This is our traditional that you made, and then obviously our famous chicken bacon ranch and our hog tie famous here in Toronto.
Okay, well, we have to try the staple
Let's
first.
try the
Shall we?
Just make sure you get the French fries and the cheese curd.
A lot of hard work went into this one, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. How is it?
Oh my goodness. It's so comforting. The gravy? I don't think we touched on the gravy enough.
It's our secret signature gravy, chicken bakes.
Well, these all sound amazing, but honestly, I'm sticking with the traditional, and I'll save these two for the guys in the studio.
I'll enjoy. Welcome to Smokes Poutinery.
Well, like always during these fight weeks, I had to run a couple miles just to be able to go and get these dishes for you. I'm here with Paul from Smokes Poutinery. He's the district manager, and I know that smokes is a staple in Canada, but tell us a little bit about how it started.
It started in 2009 right here in Toronto by our founder, Ryan Smolkin.
DC, are you already shadowboxing?
I love you.
He's so happy. He's so
That's
happy.
incredible. And we mentioned in the piece that Smokes allows you to customize your poutine. What is the craziest customization that you've made?
We have some crazy ones, but I'd say every protein somebody's added over $100 for the poutine.
What's the actual
Wait,
poutine?
over $100?
But what's
over
the
$100 for a single poutine.
What's the actual
Yeah, that's
poutine?
right.
The cheese curds?
It's the fries, the curd, and the gravy all together. We
So the
just add
poutine-
stuff on top and make it crazy.
The poutine is the complete dish.
That's right.
What time of the day do people usually eat poutine?
We're open here in Toronto till 6 a.m. People order this at 6 a.m.
Yeah, but we're
So they start their day with this?
That's right.
Yeah,
or end their late night.
Yeah, they're supposed to be drunk when they
Or
show
end their
up at
late
6
Yeah, I
night.
feel like it's
That's
a
right.
great drunk like late night day.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yes.
What is it about poutine that's just such a staple in Canada?
To help you go to sleep, that's for sure. This will put any fighter to sleep.
Facts.
I think this is a really good post-fight meal. Dominic, you're looking a little.
Well,
you're looking a little famished.
No, I'm saving mine for DC.
Okay. Yeah.
He's
Are you
always
thinking about how this fits into the
DC,
macros?
we have an
Look, can I say
arrangement.
something?
We have an arrangement.
Okay.
Just,
Okay.
He's like,
Everybody said,
save that.
You know
for
what I
me.
just heard in my ear, bro? Tyron Woodley likes poutine.
That's so good.
The
What time
video's
of day
out.
does Woodley have poutine? All day, every day. There is no specific time.
You guys are wrong.
Paul, one last question for you. The origin of poutine, why and when did this start exactly?
This started in Quebec, to be honest with you, but we started the first Poutinery in 2009 because instead of the fries, curd, and gravy, we wanted to throw everything else on top of it.
That's incredible. Well, thank you for this incredible
Man, it's
dish.
so good.
Thanks for coming
Thank
on
you
set.
so much, man.
I hope you guys
Thank
enjoy,
you.
especially
Thank you.
Dominic.
Thank you.
One
Love
bite.
you guys.
Come on.
Really good.
One
I've
You
been
know the
eating it
rules.
nonstop. Oh
Thanks,
man,
guys.
it's so
man.
good.
They kick
I've
you
been
up the
killing
weigh-in
it.
show if
I've
you
been
don't.
killing it. I have.
You
know, I
like
don't-
bacon? Bacon's keto diet. Are you doing keto?
I ate bacon this morning.
All right, good.
Yeah, a lot.
It's a little overwhelming. I mean, it weighs. How much does it weigh? How much? Like 2 pounds? It's supposed to weigh 2 pounds.
I'm saving room for
Probably
the
4 pounds. she
saving
said.
room for the beer.
4 or 5 pounds right now.
That's
good.
That's crazy. That's pretty incredible.
It's good, guys.
This thing is.
It's
What
really
is
good.
like America has crazy obesity. It's one of the worst issues that we have going on in our country right now. I'm just curious on like the obesity level in
There is
Canada
none.
with poutine.
They're in insane shape.
They are.
Really?
Because if they walk outside, it's like a cold tub every day. Right?
That's true. That
So it
burns
just
fat.
Burns fat.
Everywhere you go, you're just burning fat.
You guys have
winter.
no idea how actually really cold it is here. Like there's
No.
no way to
Nobody- no, you
describe
can't even describe how
the
cold it
amount of cold. Like I have I was so cold, I put shorts on under my pants. Like, does that even make any sense?
Really? Wearing long johns.
Just I was like, at least my thighs are warm. Like, it's cold.
You should have brought long johns.
I'm not ready for this, but I'm from Arizona, man. It's
so cold, man.
We just got an obesity update. I didn't say that again, Zach. 20th. They're ranked 20th in obesity. That's pretty good.
Wait, ranked
Outside the top
20th in
20.
the world for obesity? Like
In obesity rate in the world. We're 14.
So we're not too bad. Who's number one?
I thought we were number 1.
Oklahoma is number 1.
Oh, there's some known countries.
It would like be like the
They love their
Pacific
rice
Islanders,
and spam.
French Polynesian, Tonga,
there's some big-
Samoa.
Yeah, those guys are giants, though.
Yeah.
Giants.
But do you really think it's worth it,
That
like, to get
evens out,
fat
though.
eating rice and
That kind
spam? I don't, like...
No, but are
if
they
it's
really
pasta-
obese or are they just giant?
They're just big.
They're just giant
No,
people.
but they're obese.
But you can
Obesity
see
is
Tai
like...
Tuivasa, right? Tai Tuivasa's like huge.
Yeah.
He's like that. Like
But
that
you're
big.
considered obese. You're considered obese.
All right, can I watch Mobzar?
All right, we're weighing in, guys.
Yeah, we got to weigh in.
All right. Speaking of.
This was a little bit earlier. We were actually in an interview when Mobzar weighed in, DC.
Here goes Mobzar. Look, he's one of the most interesting prospects at 145 pounds, and they are very, very excited about this guy at the American Top Team. They say that he has unfairly gained a reputation of a guy that will take you down and fight a slow style, but they are working diligently to try and improve.
Official weight 145 3/4 for Mobzar.
145 and 3/4. They're working hard to improve his ground and pound. They said that if he can start to finish people once he takes them down, then he becomes a real problem for all the featherweights in the world.
Mobzar 17-0, 7-0 in the UFC. Just being undefeated, I think, when you get to the UFC, pretty impressive. Let's talk top 5 undefeated fighters in the UFC. Weidman, we're going to start with you on this.
Top 5 undefeated fighters in the UFC. All right. I'm not going in order. I'm just who I think is the top 5 undefeated fighters in the UFC right now.
Okay.
I'm going Mobzar Evloev just as one of them. Tatiana Suarez. I mean, this girl should have been a champion a long time ago, in my view. Like, she's so good, but she's so injury prone. She just keeps having setbacks, but I see her as a future champion. Chimaev, I think it's just a matter of time until he's a champion. Ilya Topuria, same thing. He's right there. He's going to have his ability to win the title here coming up pretty soon. And then Shavkat Rakhmonov. I'm finally on the Shavkat boat. After he beat Wonder Boy, I'm like, all right, this guy's pretty good.
That's what turned you. That's the thing.
Yeah, because when he fought Jeff Neal, he got pieced up almost the whole fight, and then he did get a finish.
He didn't get pieced up.
He couldn't get a takedown. He couldn't get a takedown against Jeff Neal.
Yeah, he didn't get a takedown, and look at what he did to Jeff Neal.
Jeff Neal's been taken down plenty of times from people, so he's not the greatest wrestler. He gets hit a lot on the feet, so that's what I was looking at.
So 16-0 with 16 finishes isn't enough, but 17-0 with 17 finishes. That's the bridge you cross.
But you always have to look at who he's fought and what those fights looked like before the finish. And
So Mobzar,
in the Jeff Neal fight, he got a finish, but watch that fight.
So you put Evloev in there, right? Evloev had a fight with someone that took it on short notice.
Diego Lopez.
Yeah. Who is still very fun.
Yeah.
But
he's only won since then,
if that what's happened in the Shavkat would have caused you to go, well, Shavkat's not that good.
And Evloev, to me, I'm putting him on a list because he's undefeated. I put Shavkat on the list. He's undefeated. But Evloev still has to prove a lot to me. We'll see him tomorrow night. That's the fight that's going to make or break him.
Uh-oh.
He's had some close fights.
Here comes the
shameful towel.
The screen for Malcolm Gordon.
This would have ruined you, DC.
He still would have touched something. He would have figured
Well, actually,
out
maybe it might have helped him.
He would have figured something out.
Because the bars.
Yeah.
Square. You would have put your elbows on the like you're doing on the chair right now.
Isn't it crazy? Did you get money on this invention that they created?
No.
Are you own a percentage of this?
So
Gordon missed weight.
Remember, Gordon missed weight.
Malcolm Gordon, 1.5 pounds over the flyweight limit.
Man.
Missed weight against Jake Hadley in his last
Too
fight,
much
so he missed
poutine.
You
again.
can take off those. You can take your underwear off, but they don't weigh 1.5 pounds.
Maybe if they're sweaty.
Unless they're sweaty.
They're never.
Usually, I would say 0.4 the
Never.
most.
You get
0.4.
Even wet.
They have to be
0.2,
sweaty with
0.2,
gravy.
0.4.
Yeah,
0.3
1.5 pounds. Underwear.
Well, I'm bigger than you, Dom.
You gotta have some poutine.
Your
draw.
underwear is definitely small.
Okay, I don't wear underwear, okay?
Oh, you just free ball?
No, I let them hang.
Too much information.
Is he going to try to make the weight? Like, is he going to try to make the weight?
Wait, so how much was he over?
We'll find out. We'll keep you posted on that.
1 pound over. How much time does he have to make the weight? He has 20 minutes to make. Oh, he has an hour now.
He'll make it.
All right, DC, your list is up. Top 5 active undefeated fighters.
Yep. Tatiana Suarez, Khamzat Chimaev, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Ilia Topuria, and Umar Nurmagomedov.
Umar's a good one.
Umar is tremendous. He is an unbelievable striker, wrestler, and he had his fight. He had his fight when Merab got hurt. He had his fight. Had he fought Merab, boy, we might be talking about a guy that should be fighting for the championship. So those are my top 5.
But he didn't. And who has he beat so far? That's good.
Bro, he's undefeated. Okay. They asked me for the best undefeated guys. I watched the guy compete. I watched the guy in the training room. I know this is one of the best bantamweights in the world.
So you have inside info.
All right.
Well, he hasn't beaten Wonder Boy yet. So.
Here's my list here. You got Khamzat. I got Ilia, who's going to be fighting Volk for the title coming up here soon. Shavkat. I mean, he's coming off wins over Jeff Neal and Wonder Boy, both top 8 welterweights. Tatiana Suarez. She's beaten 3 former or current champions. Incredibly impressive. And Grasso Esparza and Jessica Andrade. And then Mobzar is my number 5. All right, who do we have up next? RJ.
I think I'm the only one that put this guy on there, and he should be. Tatsuro Taira.
How do you say his name?
Tatsuro Taira.
He's a Japanese kid. He's good.
Awesome. He's only been pro
him,
since 2018. That's why I think he's special.
Oh, so that's your number 1? Like, you think he's the number 1?
No, they're doing this backwards. That's backwards.
Okay, gotcha.
I put it right on my thing. They put it wrong there. Graphics department.
That's all right.
That's fine. I'm not going to bury anybody.
No, you're wrong, RJ.
Number 4, Tatiana Suarez. She would have been champ 5 years ago. She didn't keep getting hurt.
Agreed.
Ilia Topuria, number 3. If he beats Volk, he's number 1, clearly, right? Khamzat Chimaev. He's the most dominant of them all, even though he doesn't have quite as many fights. But Shavkat Rakhmonov, number 1, 17-0, 17 finishes, tougher weight class. He's the truth.
Wait till you hear my bold prediction for this year.
Is it? Shavkat Rakhmonov's going to be champion? That's bold.
Go ahead, Dom.
Bo Nickel, number 1. Rakhmonov, number 2.
Wow.
Lerone Murphy, the Miracle Man. That's my guy. I've gotten to cross-train with him. He's looking really nice, making a lot of improvements, super fast. Ian Gary, number 4. And I didn't put a 5 because it was between Tatiana Suarez and Evelev.
So you only have
Evloev, sorry.
You only have to win 2 fights in the UFC to be number 1 on your list.
Dominic just didn't even do it. Like, that's
crazy.
so crazy.
What?
How do you do your homework? Actually just didn't even do number 5.
They're undefeated. They're all undefeated.
No, but the 5th.
They said you didn't give a 5th.
No,
that's
it was
so
it was on there. It was Evloev, and he didn't think, like, he already wrote it to me, so I was like, it's on there. Like, why do I need to rewrite it again?
Who?
Zach.
So Zach set you up
an example.
So Zach buried you.
He gave me an example, and it was the last of my example.
So
it was
look
there.
what it says here.
He just misunderstood me.
Oh,
he don't do his homework. See,
they're throwing you under the
bus.
I ddid not do my homework, DC.
It's not Zach's fault either.
See, this is what happens
This
when
is
you
equal
got these guys who
opportunity
do
that I'm
commentating.
exercising
They think they're too good for the show.
Equal opportunity.
Zach, it's not Zach's fault you didn't prepare, Dom.
Zach Candido. I want to put the last name out there. Zach Candido, our producer.
Zachary.
It's not just
Zachary
Zach.
Candido.
Like, this guy drops the ball regularly.
Oh, man.
He's trying to blame me.
Yo, Candido.
I'm trying to put it on you, Dom.
Candido.
It's always easy to blame me because I'll take
Laura
it.
Sanko's coming on the set. Here, come on, Laura. What's up, Sanko?
They know I always
Hey, Dominic,
Dom really did a hard look. Dom looked so hard.
Yo, Sanko! What's up?
I do it again.
Get up, bro.
Dom turned so hard.
We'll never work another pay-per-view again.
Candido controls that too.
Candido's he has a lot of power,
That's
man.
how you know, like, the victimhood lives large with our production team.
Ooh, he's doubled down. He's doubled down.
It's all our fault.
All right, let's do a little rapid fire, boys.
Oh, my God.
It's all us.
Here we go, Dom. We go quick. Buy or sell, the winner of Strickland du Plessis fights Adesanya next.
Oh, buy. I would love to see that. I think that will happen. I think that Strickland Adesanya could be one of the best fights that could be this year.
Yeah, I agree.
I buy it. I think that's the fight to make. I think that's the money fight to make. Both of them have kind of a backstory with each other with Adesanya. So
and we don't know. It's not like, oh, easy fight. That's easy. It's like that's a tough fight to pick the winner.
Yeah, I sell because Izzy said he's taking time off. So
He's going to take the whole. You think Daisy's going to take the whole?
He said
year
he's going to take a little bit of time. So
All right. True or
Nah,
false?
they're
Sean
gonna offer him
Strickland.
money.
Sean Strickland is Dricus du Plessis' toughest test.
Yeah, no question.
You said buy or sell?
I said true or false.
True.
Man, on paper,
Right now.
I would say sell. On paper, I think Robert Whitaker was actually a tougher fight for him.
Yeah, or
This guy.
True. No, false.
Okay.
I thought it was buy or sell,
I would say true. I would say true. The way Strickland's fighting today makes him the most difficult opponent for him.
That's easy to say now, though, of course.
Well,
But
we're talking about right now.
I know, but if you have to like look big picture of what I don't know.
This isn't
You know,
revisionist
I'm
history.
right.
All right,
I'm
you're
right,
not
wrong.
playing the rapid fire game. All right, mental battle. Who has the advantage? Strickland, du Plessis.
Du Plessis.
Who has the advantage mentally?
Yeah.
Battle?
It's
Du
kind of a
Plessis,
battle,
man.
like-
Du Plessis seems unbothered with any
Yeah.
of these the back and forth stuff.
I say Strickland. He actually got du Plessis to lay off of him.
He did
He
scare him.
asked him to. He said he was going to stab him and got him to lay off of.
This is what it
those
reminded
jokes.
me of.
That's
You know
crazy.
that
I
guy?
say
You know that
Strickland.
crazy guy? Like, I'm crazy. It's like, oh, he believed him. He's like, you know
Yes.
what? You are
Well,
crazy.
you know what? He is crazy.
actually-
He did, as soon as he come to Canada, go to a knife shop and buy a knife unembedded.
Yeah, you see? So
I mean, are we just going to think Strickland is just like, he let it go?
Strickland won, bro.
We got that weigh-in.
Strickland won.
No, there is a weird
Strickland
thing there. Though.
won.
There's a real
He
weird
won the
thing 'cause
mental battle. He got du Plessis to lay
got
off
him
of
to
it.
chill out.
Well,
yeah, is that,
we also found
what's
out
that about?
he got his guns back after 10 years of not being allowed to have a gun unembedded. So
Oh, my
Strickland now has
goodness.
his gun. So,
That
yeah,
is not
dangerous
good.
dude. All right, true or false? Sean Strickland, a top 10 draw in the UFC right now.
Yeah. I mean, right now, whoa, top 10?
Top 10.
I mean, not top 10.
You're crazy. There's no draw.
Yeah, I'm 100%.
Who are 10? Tell me 10 people that can draw.
Yeah.
In the whole UFC, well, yeah, we got Jones, we got
McGregor,
we got Izzy, we got
Poirier, Chandler. You can throw them in
DC's
there.
Can they
make a
really
comeback.
draw?
We got,
Poirier, Chandler,
Gaethje, Islam.
Adesanya.
There's a lot of stars out there.
But they don't have 10 draws.
But he's just became champion.
But 10
he's
people that can draw
growing.
money, I think
he's
he's in.
growing. He's there. He's growing. But he needs to win this one. If he can win this one, then he starts to hold himself as a household name. I
So
think.
rapid fire, not now, but could be soon.
Yes.
You know what? After you named all the different guys out there, I'm going to say he may be right outside the top 10. But he's very close.
That's both BS. It's true because there aren't 10 draws.
He named
I
about
think
5.
I think he named more than 5.
Are we talking money? Like, are we talking drawing money
Yes.
or just people
Draws.
that? He's one of the
Draws.
top 10. We don't have people that draw money in the UFC.
He just went through a whole bunch.
Canada and Australia love the guy.
When this fight happens, we'll know. I think we'll know more of
Well,
how
just
much of the
so
draw.
you know,
this will tell.
this is the biggest gate ever in Canadian
See?
history.
There you go.
Already.
Draw.
Already. So.
Well, more than GSP, Jake Shields, I don't think so.
It's the biggest
No way.
UFC draw in Canada ever.
So
already.
Okay.
They
just-
announced it.
but inflation,
They had,
money.
they had 55,000
Yeah,
at
I know.
GSP,
I know.
Jake Shields.
And now-
55,000.
money wise.
They must
But
have
let's
been-
talk pay-per-views, though.
That was
is
the
this a
gate,
big
though.
pay-per-view?
Well, we'll find out.
Like, do you think Sean O'Malley's a big draw? Because apparently those
Aljamain
pay-per-views
said no.
didn't do great. His
Aljamain said
I know,
no.
yeah, straight up no.
Well, I don't know.
Not yet.
You got to look at YouTube and you got to look at all the new algorithms that
And
he
if you're
brings
doing
to
that,
the
then
table.
I'll tell you right now. I interviewed Sean Strickland yesterday. 120,000 views overnight.
Yep.
What?
He's a draw. 120,000 overnight, less than 24 hours. 120,000 people watch me interview Sean
what's
Strickland.
your
when I
average on
interview
YouTube?
other guys,
Yeah.
right? Those usually
We got
settle
that
at
watching
120.
you eat that poutine right now, bro.
75,000 whenever I just talk about something myself, you and I. Yeah, 120 is a draw.
All right.
Massive.
So significantly above.
But it's also fight week. His fight week.
And that's when you find out if people draw.
Yeah, that's what I said.
He's
After
in the
this,
top
we'll
10.
know. We'll
He's in
know
the top
after
10.
this.
All right, let me ask you this about the co-main event. What's better for the state of the women's bantamweight division? Pennington as champ or Buena Silva as champ?
Better for the division?
Yeah. Don't ask me to explain the question. It's just what would be better for that division, meaning like who has the potential to have a longer run, who has more excitement that they provide.
Look at Helly feeding him the answer.
I think Bueno Silva because of Brazil. She got Brazil on her back, and she can bring all that audience. And we just discussed how international fighters get the most following because they bring the whole country
There
on
we
their
go,
back.
putting it all together.
Go with Silva. She brings a fun, action-paced fight every time she fights, and she talks. She talks trash, so people are going to tune in to watch her fight. Raquel Pennington's kind of quiet, and a lot of her fights aren't that exciting to watch. So with that, Bueno Silva.
Whoever can build a better fight with Juliana Pena. This division needs someone familiar. And even though you think Juliana's annoying, she's familiar because she shared the stage with Amanda. So whoever can build a better fight with Juliana is who I believe.
Who thinks she's annoying? You?
Everybody.
I didn't say that.
Who's everybody?
Yeah, none of us said that.
The way
I heard you say that.
The way she's talking like she won the last fight, and the way she's acting with
Juliana,
the
you're talking about
the
right
two
now.
girls that are fighting this weekend definitely think she's annoying.
So she annoys you?
Me? I don't really care.
Sounds like you're the only one who said
everybody
you're the
thinks
only
I'm
one
saying
who said
they all.
that.
We talked to both of the fighters. We talked to their corners. They all thought she's annoying. I don't care about Juliana.
You just throw
Pena
them
or-
under the bus.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because they're going to make money off her. I don't care about Juliana. You, Chris.
You don't care
none
about
of y'all.
anybody.
I don't
You
care
don't
about
care
nothing.
about
But listen. Here's the deal.
Jeez, we're all one. man.
Whoever can draw more money with Juliana because the division needs someone familiar.
Okay, no, I think that's
the
good.
next
Yo,
rapid
I
fire
can't
question
believe
should be, what does
Dominic-
DC care about?
I can't believe Dominic gets in your head that easy.
No, I don't.
He owns you.
No, because I just don't.
No, he actually bothers you.
No, DC
Dominic?
cares of nothing. DC doesn't care. He just doesn't care.
I think he actually cares. I think he actually
Juliana,
cares.
but you
I
said
think he
I'm
actually
annoyed
cares.
with
You're the
Juliana
one who
Pena.
said it. I don't know who said she was annoying.
I'm annoyed with her. She irritates me.
Yeah, just say it.
Rapid fire. Here we go. Bigger factor in the co-main event, Pennington's heart or Bueno Silva's boxing?
Heart.
Repeat that.
Pennington's heart or Bueno Silva's boxing will be a bigger factor in the fight?
Bueno Silva's boxing.
Yeah. Bueno Silva's boxing. She's got to be able to use her hands to get to takedowns. If she can't reach it with her hands, she'll be lost.
I see a Rudy situation coming. Big heart wins.
Yeah.
All right. Final question. UFC 297, the fighter that has the most to gain on Saturday. Fighter with the most to gain on Saturday.
Du Plessis. He's got such crazy matchups coming up with this win that I think he has the most to gain because of the matchups that are right there at his fingertips.
I go with Du Plessis. I mean, Strickland's already the champion. People love him. They're not going to stop loving him. The people that hate him aren't going to stop hating him. So he's kind of status quo. Dricus du Plessis becomes world champion with the whole country of South Africa, maybe the whole continent of Africa supporting him. The sky's the limit for him.
I think Mike Malott, right?
Because he's going to be ranked.
Yeah, ranked, and then he has this country. They have been waiting for the next guy, like George St. Pierre. Mike Malott goes into the top 15 and starts to feel real. He's going to feel momentum like he could never have imagined.
What about Mobzar? Being a
Mobzar
top 5
too.
guy.
Yeah, but he won't get a title shot. Like it just is different for him.
Because he fought
He's got a lot to gain.
Dan Ige, then he fought Diego Lopez, and now he's fighting this fight. He hasn't fought the biggest names yet. This is Arnold Allen is going to be his toughest test. I feel you got to put a couple more names on the resume before we start talking like that.
Guys, you guys have talked so much, and I don't know if that's just because of the presence of Dom here, and you feel like you need to kind of keep
We
up
gotta
with
try
it.
to prove that
It's always my fault.
Like,
It's always Dom's
Dominic
fault, right?
Dominic is so smart. He elevates our brains.
We haven't even played a game. We haven't spun the
guys.
wheel. The belt
Can
hasn't
we
changed
please-
hands.
can we
This is
please
the
do,
first time
like,
in
trivia?
2 hours. We want
just
to
no
chug a
trivia.
little maple syrup.
If it has to,
Okay?
this
is what
if
we
the
want to
trivia
do.
has to do with intelligence,
Poutine
then
and
Dominic
syrup.
wins.
You literally are feeding
Well,
us,
you guys were eating
like,
so
what are you
healthy
trying
with
to
the
do to
poutine.
us?
We thought we'd, get some vitamins in you and
no-
do
Oh my
the
Oh, this is actually
maple syrup chug.
This
Yeah.
You know who I saw do this?
Elf.
I'll be the
Liver King.
judge.
Liver King.
You guys
showed
know
me
the
this
drill.
could be done. He drinks
70
maple syrup.
Oh, is it good?
Who
for
can
you?
drink
That's
it
what
all
he says.
first?
So that's the
All right,
one
if he says
reason.
it's good,
That's
maybe
the
I'll
one
do it.
reason I might be okay
And
with
it's a
it.
little
I've seen him do
lighter
it.
than normal syrup.
Liver King.
Maple syrup's a little lighter.
Chugs syrup.
He also
Now,
doesn't take steroids
Hey,
either.
yeah, but he has a USADA jacket.
Okay. You
didn't
guys
know
ready?
All right, 100%.
Okay, all right, before we start,
Yeah.
the reason we're drinking maple syrup is because 78% of the world's maple syrup comes from Canada.
And 100% of the vomit
it.
is going to come from you
Chug it.
guys chugging this, and I can't wait to see it. All right.
So what are we doing?
We're not.
Just
we-
whoever
like,
chugs it the fastest, right? Three.
get the whole
what do we
thing
get?
down?
The whole thing.
Is
yeah.
it worth what we
Look
get?
how small these cups
Is
are.
it even worth what we
What
get?
do we get?
The belt.
The belt, and someone spins the wheel, and a whole and 9 pounds of poutine.
Yo, you're cheating.
In 3, 2, 1, go! Oh!
No way.
DC won.
Not doing it.
Barely beat Helly.
I was undecided if I wanted to do
Barely
it or not
beat
until I saw
Ellie.
DC doing it for real. I saw him go. Watch my chug.
DHDC.
DC
Got it. Wow.
No, he's not done yet.
Get my belt.
That
Get
was
my
the
belt.
exact same
Get my belt,
time.
Chris. My belt, Chris.
I hate it. I fucking hate it.
You guys didn't even do it.
And DC also ate the most poutine.
Well, hang on.
He's a machine.
Did we get to do something like physical?
No,
to
you
win
guys
it back
got to Dominic, spin the wheel.
We got trivia and stuff. Yeah.
For you, right?
We'll get that.
Dominic,
back.
spin the
We'll
wheel.
get that back.
I'll spin it for you.
No, you get whatever punishment that is for bullying me for the last 2
I'm gonna spin it for you
hours.
because you won.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Spin it.
I gotta do. Oh,
Yeah,
You gotta do whatever.
friend.
Welcome to the Lainesse show. He just hurt you right
thought he was
now.
my friend.
That's what you do for bullying me for the last 2 hours.
I'm on your team, man.
Mirror affirmation.
You're gonna kill this.
That's not an accident.
You're gonna do good at that. You're gonna do good at
That's
that.
not
What'd you do this
All right.
morning?
Okay, well, I'm kind of confused what
we have
this
a mirror?
means, but I.
So
like
here's what
positive
you do. Let me
affirmations in the mirror.
let me just give you
Dan
an
has a
example.
great
Like
mirror
this is what I would do.
affirmation.
All right. Oh, I really am good. I'm not a casual. I know what I'm talking about when I talk about the
got a
UFC.
nice butt.
This makes me feel better about myself. You got to talk to the mirror about things that you would like to say to yourself. You know,
To make you feel good.
to make you feel good. Yeah, self-talk.
I love you. 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 I love you.
That's
because
it.
I have no self-love. You can be better to yourself, and you make weight every time. So that
Treat
makes,
DC better.
That makes you a good person, and regardless of the fact of whether they do their work or not, it doesn't affect you. You just get to be what's missing for them, Dominic. Yes. You're a good person.
That was good. Dom. That was the best positive affirmation I've ever seen. That was good. That was the best positive affirmation.
That was amazing.
That was good.
I love you
That was
guys.
good, Dom. That was good.
See, look at that.
That was
I love
good.
you
That was
guys.
good.
He's the only man in America who can just shit on you, DC, and then you love it.
I think it's the syrup.
I love it.
It's just
I'm like
syrup's got me going
shaking on
crazy.
sugar high right now.
I
I'm
know.
so high on sugar.
Yeah.
And I just sipped it. How is that going through your veins? You literally have syrup through your veins, DC. And it's like
not
nothing
good right
for
now.
you. It's like
Yeah,
nothing.
I don't
It
feel
really
that
does
good.
kind of hurt a little bit.
I feel very weird.
It hurts.
All right, we're gonna play a little "You Better." Dom,
you
did they? You remember this game that we're doing? So this is where you're giving them coaching advice. You're looking right into the camera. You're talking to Sean Strickland right now. Sean Strickland, when Saturday night rolls around, you better.
Okay, Sean Strickland, when Saturday night rolls around, you better go out there, pressure into du Plessis. No matter what he does, don't take one step back. And no matter what he says to you about your past, stay locked in, don't get emotional, stay calm, because he's going to try to spike your emotions. Chill out, you're gonna be good.
Oh, I like that.
Dricus.
All right. There you go.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, Dricus.
Dricus, Weidman here, your pal. You're going to go against Strickland tonight. This is the moment you've been waiting for. You're stepping into the UFC octagon to claim that belt. This is your destiny. Don't let the moment get to your head. Just go across the octagon and do what you do. Believe in your style. Everything that you and your coaches have been working on is all you need to get the job done. Make sure to get your punches landed first, get to your takedowns, and look for big ground and pound, and you will get the finish.
All right, I have Raquel Pennington going to Weidman.
Raquel Pennington?
Yes.
Raquel, Weidman here.
Your pal. Your pal.
Your pal. Your pal. Your buddy. Okay, listen. Myra Bueno Silva, she's going to be walking across the octagon in front of you. She's going to be in your face. I need you to use your footwork and not just look for headshots, because she's going to come up with a high guard. Okay, so you're going to come to the body with body kicks, come to the body with punches, and eventually get to the clinch position. Try to bring her to the cage and just try to bring down her stamina. She will get tired. You're the more experienced fighter. So just use that experience to get the win.
All right, DC, Bueno Silva.
Maida Bueno Silva, you have to go and show Raquel Pennington right away that this is the same way this fight will play out like the last one. The last time she had a title fight, she was overwhelmed. Go out early, remind her that these situations don't suit her, and you are the next bantamweight champion of the world.
All right, Dom, Neil Magny.
Neil Magny, you've got the experience, man. You're taller, you're lankier. Use your range, march forward, and lift this little short Canadian up. Jack up those underhooks, get him on his tiptoes so that he's not all strong, and make him look like he's on the hockey skates while you're out there in the octagon. You got this. Get it done. Use your experience. You're an OG.
All right, Malott, you've been playing hockey since you're a little boy. Malott. You've been playing hockey since you're a little boy.
Here.
It's no different, okay? You got to move your feet. use your glutes to move around the octagon and punch hard, kick hard. You are the more explosive, more dynamic fighter. You've had less damage. He has more experience, but you've gone through less. You could take more. Get into a bar fight with him out there and get the job done.
Arnold Allen, show this kid that sometimes you ask for something and you don't really want it. He got the fight that he asked for. You got to make him know that he was over his head. Defend takedowns early, make him uncomfortable, Arnold Allen. You cannot fight this guy on the ground. Defend before the takedowns get started to give yourself a chance to use all that explosiveness and athleticism to your advantage.
All right, good work, guys. We did have a couple of weigh-ins that happened a little bit earlier, so these are pre-recorded.
Dude, this syrup is killing me right now.
This is the Savage Ramon Tavares, a 30-year-old from Jacksonville, Florida, facing Weidman's buddy, Surrey City.
Get me water.
In a, I'm on television, guys, talking about Ramon Tavares.
Television.
I mean, come on. This is kind of an interesting story because it was a controversial finish in their first Contender Series fight. Tavares lost in the first round after an early stoppage, came back with a vengeance, so got another chance on Contender Series, won in 29 seconds with a vicious knockout to earn a UFC contract.
It looked like he missed weight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
3/4.
It looked like
by a lot. By a lot.
Weight
That's not close.
How much?
139 and a half. Wow, that's like 5 pounds almost.
Yeah, that's
4
a
pounds.
ton.
Here we go. Neil Magny. This is probably one of the most overlooked fighters in the UFC. He has fought the who's who of the welterweight division throughout his career. And let me just go through a quick list of the guys he actually has beaten that you might have forgotten. Jeff Neal, Robbie Lawler, Carlos Condit, Johnny Hendricks, Hector Lombard, and Kelvin Gastelum. And now they have him as a potential.
170 3/4, the official weight.
He
for the
makes
veteran
weight, of
Neil
course.
Magny.
He's a professional. He's got a full camp this time. But they're kind of looking at him as a gatekeeper now. Ian Gary, Shavkat Rakhmonov, and now he's got Mike Malott.
Malott.
All right, so Malcolm Gordon and Tavares both missed weight. Those are the only two guys that missed weight. We'll let you know if
Tavares.
the Gordon
Tavares
fight will
is
go
not
on.
cutting the
Tavares, we're not sure on.
He's up. He's 4 pounds overweight. He's not trying to cut it.
Well, but we don't know if he's going to be allowed to fight.
Oh,
yet,
they might
so
not
that's what we'll
fight.
wait. They could dock.
What do you think? What do you
I
guys think
wanted
of that?
that fight bad.
A lot of people aren't taking fights now because the other guy doesn't make weight, because ultimately it's up to them.
The commission won't allow it
No,
if you're
no,
a certain
no,
amount
no.
over.
Sometimes the commission, but also.
Well,
I
he's
think
4 pounds over.
This
This
happened
guy.
again recently. Wonder Boy, he didn't take the fight, right,
Yeah.
with Pereira.
From Hell Pichel took.
Yeah.
Didn't.
That
take
was
fight
never a
while
thing
ago.
almost, right? It was almost like an ego thing. Your coaches wouldn't let you be like, hey, the guy didn't make weight, we're not going to accept the fight. But you see the percentages now of these guys who don't make weight, they're winning like 90% of the time. It's a huge
Well, I think
advantage.
that's a little bit of a stretch. It's not 90%.
92%
No, if you
actually,
look at
if
the
you look it
numbers,
up.
it's high.
But it's not 90%.
I don't know, but it's high though.
It was 92.5%.
The numbers are high, about as high as your cholesterol.
When they win, when they miss weight,
After the syrup.
when they miss weight, they're winning 9 out of 10 times.
That was so good. He didn't even address it.
Well, he knows how to ignore me.
That's
his
not
gift.
true.
That's his gift. He doesn't
They're
care.
not winning 9 out of 10.
He doesn't care. He already
Somebody
said
in the
that.
back,
Doesn't
somebody in the back, please get me a stat because there's no way they're going to win 9 out of 10.
92.5% of the time,
That's
the guy
absurd.
who doesn't make weight wins the fight if the fight is taken.
Okay, they're working on that.
Zach,
in the back.
you know what we're
You
going
know
to
why I know that? You know why I know that?
That's crazy.
Wonder Boy, when he
don't
fought
care.
Darren Till in Liverpool, he was in his hometown.
Wait, stop.
Darren Till didn't make weight by 4 pounds.
Wait, stop.
He won. Then the stats came out. What?
The last 10 UFC people to miss weight are 6-4.
What?
That's 60%.
Oh, so we're
not
going off the
90%.
top.
Bro.
I bet the last 100.
He turned it upside down. He turned
They still
he
won't
just
get to
turned it
90.
upside down.
Hey, here's the fact of the
person
matter.
here is lying.
That's 60%. It's more often than not.
Yeah, that's
okay?
a passing test. I mean, I got D's in school.
It's usually
all the
pretty
time.
balanced.
Hey, listen,
50-50.
all right, and if you
That
get 10%,
passes.
20%
That's
of
not
your
enough.
purse taken away when you're an up-and-comer, that's not that much money. In the grand scheme of things, a win is way more important than losing $10,000 to $20,000.
Can we do trivia?
I do think, yeah, we're gonna
A
do.
15 weight misses. Stop weight. A 15 weight misses.
We're still waiting to hear. We need like a stat person right here on set.
Google it.
The guy
There's been articles written about this.
Listen to this. Chris said to expand it a little bit, right?
92.5%.
So in the last 15 weight misses, the record of the guy that has missed weight is 6-9.
Wait, who won? Wait, what do you mean?
The guy that missed weight lost 9 times.
First of all, that is an anomaly, and that just happened as of recent. I don't even know if I believe that. Google it. You'll see articles with percentages. You don't do your homework.
Hey, well,
okay. You guys have the whiteboard?
That's the easiest way, right?
Everybody have their pens?
You don't do your damn homework.
We're going to play a little game called Who Fought Neil Magny. He holds UFC records for welterweight fights with 31, wins with 21, over 6.5 hours of octagon time. There's somebody vacuuming in the background. So we're going to play this Who Fought Neil Magny. I'm going to name a fighter. You tell me if Neil's fought him.
Okay.
Okay? Why? Yes or no, if he's fought this guy. Carlos Condit, yes or no? All right, let's turn him. Yes.
Now I don't know if you guys pay attention to me.
All right. Colby Covington. Has Neil Magny fought Colby Covington, yes or no? No, no, no. All right, everybody's 2 for 2. Li Jinliang, the Leech. Has Neil Magny fought the Leech? Yes, no, yes. The answer is yes.
Dang.
Yes.
Got
DC,
that.
I knew
That was a big one.
All right. Who fought Neil Magny? Has Kelvin Gastelum fought Neil Magny? Yay or nay for Kelvin Gastelum? The answer is yes. Dong Hyun Kim. Has Hyun Kim fought Neil Magny, yes or no? The answer is no.
I'm the worst. I am always the worst at trivia. What
Daniel Sandman.
Holy cow, who is that?
Fought Neil Magny.
Oh, we guessed that one.
Yes, the UFC debut.
Oh, I had yes, too.
I
took it out. I thought they were messing with
that.
us.
Yes, I love multiple choice.
Rafael Dos Anjos. Yes or no? Yes, yes.
Oh, I got
yes.
lost it again.
Cowboy Cerrone, has Neil Magny fought Cowboy Cerrone? Yes or no?
I'm guessing again.
The answer is no. Vicente Luque. Has Vicente Luque fought Neil Magny? Yes or no? The answer is no.
Oh, that was my chance.
No.
Ah.
Really?
All right, DC starting to run away with it now.
Holy cow.
No, he just won up on me.
Oh, just one. I thought he got that one. Okay, Damian Maia. Yes or no? Has Neil Magny fought Damian Maia? Turn it. The answer is yes.
What's with your Y though, man? Your Y is weird.
Yo, sorry.
Your
Man.
Y is so weird.
I wasn't that good in elementary school.
This is for the game. It's 8-7-6. Wonder Boy, has he fought Neil Magny?
I know that one.
The
Damn
answer
it.
is no. And DC wins.
Who does their homework? Who doesn't do their homework? Who doesn't do their homework?
Trivia has nothing to do with homework.
You're not guessing. You're not guessing if you know them all right. You don't do your homework now.
I'm going to say something. I never said about homework. I said film
You're not
study.
doing your homework.
Film study is different from homework.
You're not doing your homework, Dom.
I will say this.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry
He's a
to
notorious
announce,
cheater.
But DC has been caught cheating once
I wasn't
again.
cheating. I
He
already
looked
did
at
mine.
one of my answers.
That's what he does.
And then, look, here we go.
That's what he does.
Look at him.
I already did mine.
Look at him, look at him cheating. Look at that's a guilty face.
I'm
Jesus,
just looking at him. I already wrote it. Hey, I already
If you
wrote
get
it.
caught looking at someone's paper in the SATs, it doesn't matter
Chris.
if you looked at anything.
Hey,
you fail.
Could you guys please
You
show?
fail.
Look at me. Look at
You
me.
have
look
to
at me.
spin
Look at me.
because you
mostly.
cheated.
Hey guys, could you
spin.
look at Chris though? He was doing this the whole time. I wasn't watching him. Just
Oh, no,
I'm
in the
literally
beginning.
watching him
You were
go.
watching
No, because I felt-
No, I'm watching him go like this. Like,
No.
I'm like, look at this.
No, in the
guy right here.
beginning- in the
Hey,
beginning, I
stop,
wasn't.
Stop, Dominic. Spin the wheel.
No. They said you
That's
got
for
caught
you,
cheating.
man.
It has been
You're
decided
spin the wheel.
in the production truck
Spin the wheel.
that you will
Yo,
be spinning
spin the
the
wheel.
wheel for
Cheaters
cheating.
never
Yo,
prosper.
Candido, come out here and tell him his commentating jobs are over too.
Cheaters,
I didn't cheat. I
cheaters
didn't- I'm
never
telling you, I didn't watch
prosper.
you.
We
I didn't
caught
watch
you. It's
cheating.
on film.
I
It's
wrote
on
the answer.
film. It's
Hey,
on
Everyone's
film, man.
telling
We
you
caught
cheating. Don't be a sore loser.
Be a team player.
Let's
Like,
go.
dude.
Got caught cheating. It's Talgate all over again.
Yeah, it really is.
Just admit it, man.
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying, but you were trying. You were trying.
Let's see. Yeah,
Oh, mirror affirmation
Okay.
too.
Who we spin again? Who we spin again?
Nah, fuck. I want my mirror affirmation. I want mirror affirmation.
This isn't a punishment for DC. This is just every morning.
Are y'all ready?
He doesn't even care.
You ready? Hey, you wake up in the morning and you know that at this table you are more accomplished than anybody. I mean, you won more in wrestling. You won more in fighting, and now you're the greatest commentator in the world. I mean, dude, how do you live with yourself? Daniel, you are a lucky man. You are and through hard work, commitment, and doing your film study and homework, you are the best.
I don't buy it.
Look at you. Ooh, you're pretty too, boy.
You're not that pretty. You ain't that pretty, dog.
Too, boy.
You ain't that pretty.
You are the most accomplished man up here. Hey, you are accomplished. You are accomplished, but you, oh my God, how do you live with yourself?
It's hard.
How do you live with yourself with no accolade?
No, first
really
of all,
hard.
hang on, Dan.
DC,
We're not
you're
going to let
cutting
him.
really low.
Dominic,
You're just cutting so low.
Dominic, yeah, don't let him isolate Dan Helly. He just spit on. Dominic, he spit on me. He spit on you. He spit on Helly. He spit on everybody in this room.
I think I'm in his head.
No, you're being an example of what you feel about yourself when you hate on Kelly.
His name is Helly, not Kelly. I got him.
You're
Look, I got him.
on
Kelly. He
yourself.
called him Kelly.
Okay.
Hey,
what Kelly?
No, you're showing your own true
That's his new
colors.
name.
You know what else?
Is it first name Kelly or last name Kelly?
I said it
He's
right.
the Kelcat.
No, you said
I said it right. K is silent.
Let's get a rewind on that
Norway,
one.
it's silent. But you guys didn't notice this. So he's looking in the mirror, and after cheating, he's lying to himself.
Correct.
Because Dom had 24 wins. You only had 22 wins.
In what?
You only have 22 professional wins in MMA.
I'm not even close.
I mean,
I have more
listen,
injuries.
I had to listen to Jim Miller this week talking about his record being the same as yours
This is
through
the
his
thing.
first 15 fights.
This is why
and you're lying
you were
in the mirror to
spinning
yourself.
This is why you were spinning the wheel in the first place, and here you go doing it again.
Look at him. Dan Kelly. Not that guy.
See? The K is silent. The K is silent. It's
silent K. It's all right, Dom.
Oh my God.
Have it. Come on,
I'm
dude,
glad
stop.
you guys met, though.
All right, you guys want a little rent-free action? You know rent-free, Dom? Let me explain rent-free to you. It's when there's a moment with one of these fighters on the card that's happened in Canada. Any moment in Canada that's kind of lived rent-free in your head for a long time. Something you've just really
food
remembered.
stamps,
like food stamps, sure. That
type
could,
of free.
Yeah, that could
Jake,
be it. Let's start with DC. DC, your rent-free moment.
Yeah, dude. I remember coming with Josh Koscheck to Canada. He was so well trained. The amount of booze that this man got walking to the octagon was the most insane thing I'd ever seen. And then George St. Pierre came out to some Canadian rap, and the place was shaking. I couldn't believe how loud they were. And that's when I realized, like, wow, there's like high-level fighters and stars, and there are superstars like George St. Pierre. Because, dude, the reception this man got here, he's a national treasure. And that's why somewhere in Canada, there's a bronze statue of George St. Pierre that's going to live way past the time that he's off this earth.
I agree. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I would have went with that one, but instead I went with something a little bit different. You got to do some research. You got to be there. I was here for this fight, UFC 165 in Canada, when John Jones was being tested for the first time in his career. It looked like he was going to be losing this fight. In the fourth round, I got to give him credit. He came with a clutch spinning back elbow to Gustafson's head and got him all rocked. And then it was a Hall of Fame fight. Huge win for him. You know, yeah, that was a great event.
Yeah, that was my favorite fight in history, so I'm with you on that. Jake Shields versus GSP. The reason this one stood out to me is, one, Jake Shields has been around submitting everybody, and to watch GSP take him down, hold him down, and just pick him apart on the feet. And then the 55,000 people in attendance. It was a sea of people. They had their lights out. It was incredible.
I actually think that video proves my point about title fights lately.
These are, again, Canadian moments only. How about this fight in the fight week in the Hall of Fame? Cub Swanson, Doo-Ho Choi. Choi came in riding 3 straight wins. Cub outlasts him in one of the best fights that we have ever seen. And oh, by the way, it wasn't just these two on this card. Max Holloway won the interim featherweight title over Anthony Pettis. as well, but that was just an epic.
You choosing this fight just shows me you are not a casual.
Going back to UFC 129, Jake Shields and George St. Pierre is what brought the 55,000 people, but everyone remembered this. The Ultimate Cheetah did the actual Karate Kid to a national treasure. And Randy Couture, 47 years old. People forget Randy was on a 3-fight win streak before this happened. Randy then puts the gloves down and retires after one of the craziest kicks we've ever seen in martial arts.
We don't talk enough about Randy Couture, man.
National
we don't talk enough about him.
47 years old, fighting a ranked guy.
Randy Couture is one of the greatest fighters in the history of the earth to me.
He's the proof in MMA that your record isn't who you are. Unlike boxing.
He was one of the trailblazers, I think, that don't get the respect that he deserves,
None.
especially for the wrestling guys. He was an outstanding wrestler, and he kind of showed us the way. He kind of showed us the way.
Say it.
He gave us the way, man. He gave us the way. I love Randy. Randy was 47 when he fought. I just find it very odd that when we speak of your division, you always say pre-USADA. But when Randy is 47, you don't say pre-USADA. That was...
He's pre-regulation. Like he's pre-commissioned.
All those dudes were doing it probably back then, but I will say this. There's no 47-year-old coming back right now and looking like that.
Yeah, and Chuck Liddell, he fought Chuck Liddell, and they were in the same state. There was, they were all doing, there was no USADA, didn't even exist.
So there's not a problem.
Well, I didn't say that.
Maybe it was a level playing field, but there was some guys at that time who weren't doing steroids.
I love Randy.
Matt Serra never did steroids.
I love Randy.
BJ Penn never did.
But I know what you're getting at when you say that, and that's your stance, and that makes sense because it's your weight class. So you have that. You would understand that, and you would look at that yourself. That makes sense why you would say it about that weight.
I'd like to feel good at 47.
How about you guys are stupid
right?
How about you guys are stupid for not doing steroids pre-USADA? How about that? I mean, you guys, you're not going to get caught.
Just take your responsibility. That would be the responsible conversation.
That's probably the biggest problem that we
because that's cheating. But that's cheating.
It was cheating. The difference is, and it's a lot younger, but in some sports, that keeps you out of the Hall of Fame, right? That keeps you out of the
if you fail a drug test.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I agree.
In baseball, like it keeps you out of the
I think it should.
All right, let's talk a little Canadian UFC trivia, all right? Oh, by the way, before we get into that, Tavares will be fighting, making his UFC debut after the 4-pound weight miss. Every single fight on the card is on.
Well, now we know he has a chance of winning.
So,
even though
24 fighters, 12 fights. We're playing a little, against Sergey Sidey, right? Your best buddy.
What are we doing?
The guy you trained with.
This is about
trivia.
Sergey City? About Sergey City?
No.
We're not still doing stuff, are we?
We're doing a little Canadian trivia.
More trivia?
Someone take
I don't have my
whiteboard.
Man.
There's a whiteboard right there. I think this is.
Oh, you took my whiteboard.
Trivia gives me anxiety. I feel like I'm back in school again.
Oh, here you go.
We know DC does. That's why he's cheating.
The music should help.
DC always cheats.
This is easy, Dom. All right, what city was the first UFC event in Canada in? What city hosted the first Canadian UFC event?
I don't know how to spell this.
Then it's probably the wrong one. I don't know.
Montreal is the correct answer.
Let's go.
Montreal.
It was an I, not an E.
All right, guys, write a little bit bigger so we can see you.
Okay.
All right, not this chicken scratch.
I'm embarrassed.
Who headlined that title fight at UFC 83 in Montreal? Who headlined UFC 83 in Montreal?
This is so hard.
Just think of what we were talking about earlier. Some of our biggest fights, some of our rent-free moments. Big.
Oh, wait.
Wait, sorry.
Nope.
All right. I'll try
It is
that.
GSP and Sarah.
Wow, I just guessed that.
It was GSP Sarah?
Yeah.
Pure luck.
You're welcome.
Pure luck.
You're welcome.
Damn it.
What year was the UFC's last event in Toronto? What year was the UFC's last event in Toronto? I'd like to give you the headliners. Holloway Ortega. It was Holloway Ortega.
I got
what
it.
year?
Yeah, I got it.
2018 is the answer.
Let's go.
I was gonna
2018
say
is
12.
the answer.
Go, give me that check.
No, wait. Holloway. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
they fought after.
Yeah, you finally didn't look at my.
How many title fight wins did GSP have? How many title fight wins did GSP have? Closest.
Including the middleweight one?
Yes. Closest gets the point.
Title, including middleweight. All right.
I don't know.
It's a lot. 12 is the correct answer. 12. Wow.
They definitely, Candido loves DC. He's giving him the answer.
No, I'm not. Nobody is.
Okay. How many Canadian UFC champions has the UFC had?
Closest, please.
GSP, Carlos Newton, 2.
Oh, we're all right.
Wow, that was pure luck.
How many Canadian
I know, that's
how many
pure luck.
Canadian UFC fighters are in the Hall of Fame?
Is that a question?
Yeah, how many Canadian UFC fighters are in the Hall of Fame?
I mean, I have no idea. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
The answer is 2, GSP and Rory McDonald.
Oh, yeah, because Rory got in for a fight.
Yeah, that was the fight against Lawler.
Yep.
Okay, GSP has the most UFC wins by a Canadian with 20. Who has the second most?
That's crazy.
The answer is John McDessie.
Oh, Dom got it. Dom got that.
Spinning back fist. I saw the spinning back fist.
20 times?
That's all that dude throws.
Which Canadian became known for literally running away from his opponent, Nathan Corey, at UFC 283 inside the octagon? Which Canadian ran away from his opponent?
Nathan Corey at UFC 283?
83. I'm sorry,
Who
83.
ran from Nathan Corey?
Yeah, he ran from Nathan Corey. He literally ran away from him in the octagon, turned his back, and ran at UFC 83. Just was.
Yeah,
people started Twitter accounts about him.
This guy's fucking. Somebody tell him why. Ready?
I don't know.
All right, flip it. Caleb Starnes.
Starnes.
I said Cote.
That's crazy. We don't even know who
That's the
Starnes
only
is.
other Canadian I can think of.
Which middleweight Canadian contender fought Anderson Silva in 2008 for the title before suffering an unfortunate leg injury?
Oh my God, what's his name?
Shit.
Oh my God, that ain't cool.
Patrick Cody. Chris cheat.
He gets a spin for that one.
I cheated that
Cheating when
That's
Dom
an
and DC
automatic
opened the
spin.
show
you
to
guys did it before the bell.
It's an
I had to look
automatic
up.
spin.
Dom and DC, you guys are tied.
Shit.
You could win it here. One of the biggest what-ifs in MMA was one of Canada's top fighters. After beating Gray Maynard in 2013, he was scheduled to fight Benson Henderson for the title, but a severe concussion derailed his very promising career. Who am I? And he's never fought since.
Oh, fuck me.
He was like the top lightweight at the time, and a concussion basically ended his career.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I have no idea. Sorry.
Damn.
Chris is not. He's not helping me, bro. He's got just so much script.
All right, let's flip it. TJ
Oh
Grant.
my God. Somebody fed
Dominic
him that.
Cruz, ladies and
Wait,
gentlemen.
wait. Stop.
In
Wait,
the
stop.
house.
There's one last question. He could miss,
No.
and I could tie him.
That was it.
This is-
we have a tiebreaker question.
This
Hand
is
the
it.
belt over.
This is it. You know what?
That was it?
That was it.
You know what? No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let you hold it because I've been watching you hold this over your stomach the whole time, and I think you deserve to have the belt instead of the paper, instead of this. So instead of taking the belt from you like I should, I'm going to have you spin the wheel.
I just spin the wheel.
You got to do it again. It's my call.
First the cholesterol, and now
But you
this?
can keep the belt if you can strap it around your waist.
You see,
Can you strap it?
I can't. I got all these
Let me
money.
see.
I got all these
Let me
money
see.
bags
Let
around
me
my
see if it
stomach. I
straps.
can't
Let me
strap
strap
it.
that.
No. Hey,
on,
wait,
let
don't
me
stop.
strap that
Don't
on.
stop.
Let me
This-
strap it
This
on
right
you.
here. Oh, what is that? Three very Canadian things.
You have to name the 3 most Canadian things to you.
Okay, poutine.
I knew that was coming.
Maple syrup.
Oh, God. Wow.
2, right?
2,
George
right?
St. Hockey.
Yes!
George St. Pierre.
That was the same ones I would have
George
said.
St. Pierre. Cold. Snow.
Yeah.
Skiing.
Canadian
Hosers.
flag.
Hosers.
Canadian flag.
Hosers. There you go.
Hosers, eh?
A.
Yeah, sure. You betcha. Let's get some
Wine, red
some
wine.
predictions for the year.
Okay. Ready?
Red wine. That's Canadian.
100%. They drink. They're French. They're French Canadian.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I don't think they have a lot of
It's a little
areas where they go
stereotypical.
grapes up here.
It's stereotypical. That's what labeling is. That's what we were just doing. Like, what do we think of when we?
What do we think of?
Canada?
What do we think of when we think
Stereotypes.
2024? I got predictions.
Peter Griffin.
I got a good
Chris
one.
Weidman. Like
Poutine.
stereotypes.
I got a good one.
Exactly. No, you don't.
Who will end 2024 as the pound-for-pound #1 fighter?
Right now, who is? Can you come back to me on that?
No.
You gotta be. You have to be prepared.
Man, these are trivia. Give me.
Trivia. This is opinion.
Let's go with
Islam, Volk.
Let's go with
John Jones.
You want me to go?
Let's go with Aspinall. I think he's going to rise. I think he's going to do something because you got Stipe and Jones that are kind of doing their thing on the outskirts right now, waiting for each other for whatever reason. And Aspinall's like, hey, I'm fresh. I'm here in young blood, and I'm the man.
But who's he going to fight?
I mean, it doesn't matter. He's going to be rising.
Rise up.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not going to fight.
I'm going with Islam Makhachev. I think this is going to be his year to really, realize his goals and just
look at his font.
I called you a fat ass.
Dude, I don't know how you're going to do it. Like,
bro, are you kidding me?
I'm
what are you walking
deadly
around out
serious.
right now?
You want me to be honest? So the other day I was like 226 at
you're
night though, but then I was like
huge.
222 in the morning. Right now I'm like 221. I ate healthy for 3 days.
You're
I'm like,
strong.
now I'm going hard.
You are
He's strong. Yeah, he's strong. He looks strong.
I'm really
Yeah,
strong.
you look
actually.
strong.
Everyone who trains with me says that.
Who's your pound for pound guy?
My pound for pound.
No,
fighter?
at the end of the year. Who's the pound for pound number
Islam
one?
Makhachev.
Oh, Islam.
Makhachev.
Okay.
Yeah, Makhachev.
Okay.
It won't change.
A non-top 10 fighter who will make big waves. A non-top 10 fighter who will make big waves.
Why do you always got to come to me first? Can't we go this way?
This is just kind of the way we do it.
Let's go Bo Nickel.
Bo. Okay.
Umar Nurmagomedov.
Nice.
Ian Gary.
Ian Gary. Okay. All right. Of the 10 current champs, the women's 135 is vacant, by the way. How many will be champ at the end of the year? Of the 10 current champs, you don't have to say who, just how many do you think are going to keep their belts by the end of the year?
2.
I think 4 of them will lose it. So how many?
So 6. 6 will keep it.
I go the other way.
Hofstra education.
I'll say 5.
Okay.
5.
All right. One bold prediction.
No, sorry. 7.
7 will keep it.
7, including women, right? Women and male. Yeah. 7.
Okay. A bold prediction for the year.
Chris Weidman misses weight.
God, Jesus, bro.
That would be a nightmare. I've never missed weight in my life. It's not happening. I would die before.
You're really, really
I just
strong
won't show up
right
for
now.
weigh-ins.
You look strong though.
Like you are. For the first time in your life, you have veins. Like, let's get over it, man. You're still 5'2". And I'm not looking down at you, or maybe I am. I don't know.
5'8", okay.
All right, I'm going with Stipe Miocic. My bold prediction is Stipe Miocic comes back, wins the world championship against John Jones on the International Fight Week.
Wow.
I think that Shavkat Rakhmonov will fight a former champion. It'll be either Usman, Covington. If Edwards loses, he's going to fight someone that's held the UFC championship and cement himself as the #1 contender.
All right. Very good.
Shavkat, yep.
How about some early thoughts on Connor Chandler? A couple of keys.
Keys of like the
Keys to the fight for the fighters.
Well, for Chandler, counter the kicks. Don't just eat them. Like if you eat a kick, follow it up. You can't just eat his kicks and stare at him because then Connor's going to dictate the range. And if you're Connor, move, make sure you don't take a step back. Basically, fight Chandler the exact same way you fought Chad Mendes. Exactly the same.
Okay.
I mean, some of the key things in my mind for that fight was the cardio of Conor McGregor. How is he going to hold up? He put a lot of size on with this time off. I don't know if he's had a few surgeries. I've heard he had a few surgeries with his leg break. So just questioning on his cardio and how he's going to be able to sustain a 5-round fight, if it's a 5-round fight, or even a 3-round fight. But that's that. And then also Chandler, how he deals with the moment of being in there against Conor McGregor. I always feel like that's an X factor when you walk in the octagon with a guy like Conor and how you handle that type of pressure.
He can't play the game the way McGregor wants him to. He's fighting McGregor because people think that he's going to stand and trade with him. Do a lot of wrestling so that when he wrestles early, he doesn't fatigue like he did in the Poirier fight. But he has to fight his fight. He cannot play Conor McGregor's game. That's why he's fighting Conor. Because everybody believes it's going to be fun because they're going to stand with him. He doesn't have to do that.
He will.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Which is crazy. He doesn't have to, though.
Yeah.
That's what he's done his whole career.
But it's not his best path to victory.
But what is his best? He could probably take him down, but he's not the best with top control. He's not throwing up submissions very often. He's not holding the back great. I think Conor's going to be able to get up. So is it worth exerting that energy of getting that takedown just for have Conor to get back up?
We didn't see Colby do that, right, in his last fight?
Yeah.
And by the way, you've been saying that about Gaethje forever.
Gaethje won't do it, but here's the thing, right?
None of them.
With Chandler, it takes too much effort.
Energy.
It's hard energy. Chandler was able to control Poirier early when he took him down. He was able to control Oliveira when he took him down. He just gets tired when he does it.
Yeah.
So he needs to really work hard in the wrestling
I think he gets tired not because of the wrestling, but because he's so uncomfortable on the feet with his defense. I think the lack of striking defense of Chandler is what makes him tired everywhere else. If he had better striking defense, he wouldn't be taking so many shots, and then he could use his game more. But he has to wrestle because he can't defend the shots that are landed, from my experience of watching.
Do you feel like Jones and Stipe happens?
Jones and Stipe, I don't think so. Something tells me that that's not going to happen because Stipe is older and Jones, I've been through a lot of these injuries, and the one he's going through is not a light one. It's a big injury. Now, the one thing that helps him is it's at heavyweight. So I think that supports Jones in coming back, but I think the age of Stipe and then Jones's injury, and plus all the things that Jones does, he doesn't have the same fire he needs to because he's already done everything. He said it himself. I'm already the best. I don't need to do this. I do it because I want to. All that, I think that Aspinall is going to be the guy that just come up.
I think it's 100% happening. The only question mark for me is when it happens. Both guys have said that's the only guy they're interested in fighting. Stipe's not coming back and fighting Aspinall. John Jones isn't coming back to fight Aspinall either, or any other heavyweight. They're only going to come back for each other. They have contracts drawn up. There's a lot of money on the line between them two. Even if Stipe was to get hurt before their projected fight in July and John Jones was healthy, John Jones is going to sit out and wait for Stipe. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when it happens.
I believe New York City it happens. I think that'll be the Madison Square Garden card this year.
When?
That's good timing.
November. Yep, I think it'll happen in November this year.
Or maybe the Sphere, which is in September.
They're doing Mexican Independence Day for that.
You need a big fight on that card.
You're going to put John Jones, Steve Miocic on Mexican Independence Day?
How many months away is that?
You're not putting Moreno or Yair.
Oh, it's a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's big.
I didn't know it was a pay-per-view.
Jose Jones.
That's going to be a big card.
Juan Jones?
I can see that.
It'll be Juan Jones.
Juan Jones.
I know, but it's also
Juan
hard to
Jones.
take Jones out of New York City, him being from New York. So
it would work. Him in New York would work.
No, it's just the timing, right?
They were already supposed to fight there once.
So over the next 9 months, that being said, what do you do with Aspinall?
He has to fight an up-and-comer. He has to fight Cyril Gane.
But that's what I mean. You have him chipping and
He has to
chomping at the heels. What
he
do
has
you
to
do with
defend his belt, his interim belt, like we've talked about before.
Poor guy just
Only
got to
other
keep
guy who's done
defending
this was
interim
Renan
belts
Barao.
while these guys, while you wait
Just
on
like
these
Renan
guys.
Barao.
No, they're not going to do that.
Renan Barao did it twice.
Did he?
Yeah, he had 2 title defenses as an interim champion. So
He
maybe
actually
this,
did.
and that's a big
That's so
feat
crazy.
to accomplish. And
Pay-per-view
so
points are the
Aspinall
same,
has
right?
that opportunity.
Is it?
No, it's not. But that's the problem. They gave Aspinall a belt because they needed it for the MSG card.
Yeah.
And now it's a tough position for him.
That's so dirty.
Dominic?
I feel bad.
I know, I feel bad for him,
Like 9
too.
months, he just like, I'm the best.
No, but he's going to have to fight these
Maybe.
up-and-comers.
I think.
Yeah, I'm the best, maybe.
Well, you're not
And
the
then I
best
can't
because
prove
you
it.
because John
Come
Jones
on,
is
guys, let me
undisputed
prove it.
champion.
And they're like, nah, we'll wait 9 months.
Dominic, do we see Dominic Cruz this calendar year?
Yes.
In the octagon?
Yes.
Okay. Like soon? You think in the first half of the
Just
year?
this year, I'm going to say.
All right. Fair enough.
Is he going to make weight? Definitely.
I mean, you asked him, so don't
Close
No,
wide.
I'm not asking. I'm not. Okay. Will Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira complete their trilogy in 2024?
I hope so. Yeah, I think that they should. Izzy and Pereira. Yeah, they should. They should fight again, definitely. But he's got to get through Strickland. I think you got to have the Strickland fight for Adesanya first if he wins.
I don't see it happening. I mean, unless we see Alex Pereira losing at 205 pounds, I don't know why you would hold up the 205-pound division, take Israel Adesanya out of the middleweight division. So it's a tough one. Adesanya, and then the option is to have Adesanya go up to 205 again.
205, yeah.
He's done that once. It didn't work out great for him. He's not a big 85-pounder,
No.
So I think 85 is where he should really step.
I think it'll happen, but not in 2024. I think they'll fight, but not this year.
You think Izzy sits out this whole year?
I don't think he sits out this whole year. I think he'll fight Du Plessis if Du Plessis wins.
Okay.
That's who I think he'll fight.
That would be
walk right
fun.
back into a title fight with a guy he would think he's going to just be able to walk through.
Yeah.
It's a good
UFC 300 headliner, maybe.
Yeah. Oh,
I swear I think that's what's going to happen.
Me too.
Which brings us to what's the bigger card, UFC 300 or McGregor Chandler?
Bigger card, like the.
What's going to be a bigger event? What's going to
Honestly, it has to be anything that Conor's attached to.
Yeah.
Because he's he got rid of, he's gotten rid of everything or created something. Like if he doesn't want something there because it's getting in his way from making money for the UFC, he kind of asks them to get rid of it and they leave.
Yeah.
And so if you got that kind of power, like, it's in.
Yeah. What's the question?
Is UFC 300 going to be bigger or Chandler McGregor?
I'm with Dom. Any card that has Conor McGregor on it, it's the biggest fight there is.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, too.
What is the next? We're going to flip this. I'm starting with you. What's the next light heavyweight title fight?
Jamal Hill and Pereira. Yeah.
Man, I just seen Jamal Hill out at the UFC PI. He's not in fight shape at all. You think he's heavy? He's heavy. He's way heavier than me.
I saw him too.
So who else
He's gonna need some nutrition. Maybe Ankalaev.
He's not fighting Ankalaev, bro.
I see Ankalaev getting a shot. I mean, it was crazy. He fought for the belt. Then there was the split decision. It was a draw with him and Blachowicz. And then everyone kind of disregarded Ankalaev. Like he just kind of. He went to no man's land. He's back now.
The win last week helped him a lot.
Exactly, a lot. I mean, so why wouldn't he be available for a title fight?
Good.
Everyone's speechless. I forgot the question.
That's when you just crushed
Does Khamzat Chimaev fight for a title this year?
I hope so. I think he does. But does he come to the United? Where's he going to be at? Because he doesn't like to come to the United States. Right. So I don't know how they would do that.
Well, he doesn't like to come to the United States?
It doesn't seem like it.
He doesn't like American?
I don't know.
Is that a drug testing thing?
I don't think so. I think
you're an honest guy. You're an honest guy.
I think we got rid of that, I think.
All right, let's go to this one. Does Justin Gaethje fight for a title this year?
Yes. The BMF title, but not the real one.
Oh, okay.
Does Justin Gaethje? Okay, hang on. Remind me where we are right now. Justin Gaethje. Who's he fighting? Who's he got to fight against? He's fighting Holloway.
Dana
for
said
the BMF title.
For the BMF title. Listen, if he gets
That's
a win over
title.
Holloway,
He's fighting for it.
No, I'm trying to think. Real title. Does he fight Islam Makhachev this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. After he wins this fight, I'm gonna say he gets that shot. He was close to just walking into it to begin with.
Yeah, he was gonna. He was next if he waited.
I just see it. They're making the BMF belt just in case because he's done so much already. I'm like, you're almost like giving him a belt in case.
He's defending the BMF title.
He's defending. He has it already.
Yeah. So my thing is
giving him another shot at that instead of just giving him the shot. Like
I think he wins.
Why? Just give
I
him the
think
shot.
I think if he wins,
because Makhachev doesn't want to fight right now, right?
That's my point.
He's
There's
hurt.
some
Makhachev's
weird
hurt.
stuff going on with that I'm like, that's why I don't think it's not because he's not good enough or can't do it. It's because there's some weird thing going on with the division.
Makhachev's hurt, but if he wins, I think he'll fight for the belt. His biggest worry should be that Arman Sarukian doesn't just blast through Charles Oliveira. Because then he might find himself in waiting. Because if Sarukian just destroys Oliveira, he'll probably be the one that's next.
Yeah, that guy's a problem for everybody's plans.
Especially if people go back and watch the Makhachev fight with Sarukian, their first one, when Sarukian took it on short notice. Because if you watch that one, you're going to want to see them two fight again. That was a crazy fight. Back and forth wrestling scrambles, and he was 22 at the time.
Yes,
now he's
Sarukian's
27.
a problem for everybody. He's like the one missing thing. If you throw him in there, it ruins everybody's like movement. And they're like, yeah, I'm good. Let's just kind of keep him out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Let me bring this back to 297 here in Toronto. And when you look at the main event, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but Sean Strickland, for the first time, is coming in as the champion. He is the hunted, not the hunter, and that is certainly different. As you all know, I'm sitting up here with 3 world champions. I'll start with you, Weidman. What is the difference when you are no longer trying to get to the top of the mountain, but you're trying to stay on the top of the mountain?
I mean, there's a lot to it. One is the media expectations that you have when you become a champion. It definitely heightens to a different level than you're used to. And we've seen in the beginning of this camp, especially after he had the fight with du Plessis in the crowd, and people found out about his soft spot with his childhood. He didn't want to do media, right? So everyone was like, maybe the pressure of media is really getting into him. He didn't really do media up until this fight week. But then you saw him fight week this week, and he's still the same old Sean Strickland. Nothing seems to be bothering him. He's very out in the open about his issues and what he is sensitive about and what he's not. So I think he's handling everything good. he doesn't look at the belt like most people look at the belt. I think that's what separates him from pretty much everybody. What makes him unique is he doesn't really care that much about it. It's not like his legacy was, he was obsessed with having a legacy of a guy who is a world champion. He just wants to go out there and fight the best guys. He loves to fight. And so in his mind, it's not about, retaining the belt and getting as many title defenses as possible. He just wants to go out there and fight. And I think it takes a lot of pressure off him. He doesn't have to worry about the belt.
Do you believe that, though? He says that. I don't buy it.
I kind of believe him. He's definitely different. I think he's a unique dude with a different brain than most of us, and so he's not hung up on these accomplishments. Look, he was never the guy in the room that people were looking at like he was going to be a world champion. He didn't have this crazy talent. He was just losing not too long ago. I don't think being a champion was something really that he was obsessed with. It was about just fighting the best guys. That's why he was fighting Abus Magomedov, or it's something like that. Like random dudes just recently within the last year and a half.
You nailed it, by the way.
No, thank you, man. I studied, and so yeah, he found himself in a position to being a world champion, but I think he still dumps it down to just getting into another fight. I think that kind of keeps him level-headed.
I think that Strickland's learning the territory. Like when you first become champion, you're like, okay, this is what it feels like. But before you get there, it's easy. It's like, okay, I'm the best and I know it. Then you get there and they're like, okay, everybody around you is like, okay, you're the best. Do you know it? And I think Strickland's like trying to figure out, do I know it? Will I tell myself that? Or is it too much pressure to say that I'm the man, that I'm here to carry this division? When you hear, I don't want to do media, that's like the first inclination to me that, yeah, the pressure is getting you a little. The fact that you even say it, and then you got to have your coaches come in and tell you, come on, man, this is your job. You can do this. And then he snaps back into it. That's one thing. But also the fact that he got so worked up to the point where he hands the power over to somebody and says, I will stab you and I will ruin this entire event if you say this one word. I mean, that's kind of saying, look, anybody in this world that says that, I will give you everything. I will put myself in jail if you say this one word. That's like handing your power over to people and saying you're in control of me. And I think that if he can't deal with these demons and these things that he doesn't want to look at himself, I think these things are going to come back and bite him in his whole reign until he takes a look at these things inside of himself. And that's part of the game of being champion, is everybody brings out the skeletons in the closet. They throw them out there. And let's not forget, you got all these people talking about, don't talk about my family, don't talk about this, don't talk about that. But it's like, look, you can't control other people. So I'm not saying I would do it, but because I don't choose that. But if somebody does it to me, am I ready for it? Have I dealt with the things that you're going to say to me about my wife, my kids, my family, my dad, my mom? Can I handle that? Have I dealt with those demons myself so that when you try to throw them at me, they hold no weight? I think that Strickland's learning there's some skeletons and some demons in his closet that he hasn't dealt with himself, and so people can use those, pull them out and say, hey, take a look at this. Have you dealt with it? And that's what happens when you're champion. Your demons come out and they face you, and they break you out of your championship, or you can deal with them day by day and stay with them and stay champion for a long, long time.
I think for Sean Strickland, it's, to your point, you made a great point. He wasn't groomed to be champion. Like, he wasn't the guy that everybody looked at and said, well, this guy's going to be a champ one day. For us, all three of us that ultimately did reach the pinnacle, there was expectation from the moment we walked into the gym that with our backgrounds, we had potential to do something special. So it was almost like you were ready for it when it happened. For him, it was, 5 weeks? He went from not having a fight to getting a chance to fight Adesanya, and then winning, and then turning around and fighting again in 4 months. So he hasn't really had the ability to get used of what becoming a champion is, also because it was thrust upon him. It wasn't since he was on day one. When I walked into AKA, they said, one day this kid's going to be the champ, or at least fight for it. You did the same thing too with Matt Serra. I know they said it. I know it. For him, so fast that it takes time. But if he can extend this run, it will all become a little more familiar. But to your point, I think people don't understand the burden of carrying a championship. It's much harder than people think. They see the glitz and the glamour, the money. They see all these great things, but they don't see all the negatives that come with it also. It's a lot of pressure. You deal with a lot of expectation. You carry the workload of the entire pay-per-view. Yep. So in the midst of your training camp, they say, pop up, you're going. Yep. Where am I going today? You're going to New York.
How about before the warm-up?
Yeah, you're going to New York.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in week 4 of my training camp. Hey, we need you to go down to Los Angeles. And you can't say no because you are now a partner to the UFC in business to uplift that pay-per-view card. Sean Strickland's learning all this on the go. And he wasn't around it. So, yeah, I get it. I get how it can be overwhelming for a guy, especially for a guy that's it's happening and it was unexpected.
You talk about pressure. Do you feel that pressure most from your family, from your
Everybody.
team, from the organization? Like what?
Everybody.
Well, it's
Like when I watch people in the division, when I see other people, I see the pressure comes a lot of times from the opponents that bring up things away from the person. So like, I'm going to attack your wife. I'm going to attack your. That's what we're starting to see people freak out when you attack somebody besides the opponent. And I think that's what's freaking people out. And you got to think, in every superhero movie, why do they wear a mask? Because the villain goes after their family if they don't. So you got to be careful what you expose to the world about your personal life, because all is fair in love and war. You can't control other people. And I think that these people, whether they have principles or not, they don't care. They're going to attack what they want to for that $1 million purse. And so as people adjust to that, I think that that's what's going to change whether they can keep it or not.
One of the other things that people don't realize is that when you are the up-and-comer, all you're doing is looking at that champion. When you're fighting the guys in the Ring of Combats of the world and the CFFCs, and you're coming up, all you're thinking about is the champion in the UFC. And if you can't, it's not about the guy you're fighting in those local promotions. It's about training for that world champion in the UFC, because ultimately that should be your goal, is to become a world champion. When I was up and coming, it was Anderson Silva. He was the guy that was always a champion in middleweight division. So when I was fighting those local promotions, I wasn't just fighting against that guy across the octagon from me. I was fighting Anderson Silva. I always held myself to that standard until you're finally there. And so it's not just me, it's everybody. When you're the champion, people are always going to be focused on you. They're watching every one of your tapes. They know you're now everybody has social media. They know exactly what you're doing every single day. They know how hard you're training. There's so many eyes and so much criticism on everything you could do. There's every fight you have, even if it's a perfect fight, there's always something you're doing wrong and you're hearing the criticism. And now, do you let it affect you, or are you able to just be like, you know, I'm going to trust my coaches, I'm going to just listen to what they said? And that's why I was impressed with Dricus du Plessis, because his style is so unorthodox and it's so ugly, and we've all killed him for it, but it works. And me, if I'm a little bit more sensitive, if I hear other people that really know what they're doing, if I see DC coming at me as an analyst and saying, hey, maybe he's dropping his hands, he's reaching, his chin is up in the air, I might want to like work on that in the room and kind of get in my head a little bit. For example, I remember when I fought Vitor Belfort, I knew I was going to have to absorb some shots from him. I wanted to get him tired. He threw a barrage of punches at me, and I just cover. I know I'm weathering the storm, and now I'm coming forward, taking him down, and I ended up finishing him. But after that fight, I had tons of boxing coaches and people coming up to me. Why would you stand there and take shots from Vitor Belfort? You should be moving your feet. You shouldn't rely on a guard in the MMA world. It did get in my head, because then I started working on like crazy footwork and everything, not getting punched, and then I felt uncomfortable in the pocket, which my whole career is kind of where I did feel comfortable, was just blocking punches here. So that's why with Dricus, I just applaud him for not letting those guys get in his head with their critiques.
You mean DC?
Especially DC.
You know, when you're on the way up, it's easy, right? It is easy. But I think that we shouldn't rush to judge Sean Strickland. I don't think we should. I mean, like you said, Chris, on the build, and you're always training for Anderson, and all of a sudden you're the hunted, it does make it harder. We all know that. We've all lived that. Some of us, Dom, myself, we've had to lose the belt and then go back and chase it again. And you're almost rejuvenated, right? When you lose that belt and you know what it feels like, you go back even harder. But for Sean Strickland, he hasn't experienced any of that. He just hasn't. So everything now is learning and going forward, and I believe that he's done a great job, because people think Sean Strickland is this brute, the guy that just talks reckless and does all that. Wrong, bro. Sean Strickland is making merchandise. He's doing these. He's much more guided than people want to give him credit for. He's not just a loose cannon, because everything he does seems to make sense for him, and it works towards a common thing. He's not changing his message constantly. Even though his message may seem far out for some people, it's always the same message. The guy is learning in this position, and in time he'll get it. But none of us got it on day one. We all just kept working and working and working until eventually you find comfort in the space. That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I don't think any of us said he's not doing it or judged him either. I
What's that?
don't think any of us really judged Strickland. I think.
No, I'm saying just in terms of like he doesn't want to do the media. He doesn't like he himself
Well,
said
that
it.
child abuse
but it's
thing, I
like
think
all of that
got-
stuff,
No,
right? Like
yeah,
it's
so
all
what-
something. We
but
got to
I'm-
just give him
I'm-
time.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm looking at that as I never said I'm done with media because it's something that my opponent said to me.
Yeah.
And because I
Yeah,
can't.
but you also killed TJ Dillashaw
It's
verbally.
not,
Like
that's
you
the
were
point,
good at
though.
that.
But that's my point. That's something as a champion you have to be ready for. Look at Conor. Look at everybody in this. Look at Chael. Look at these guys that with the gab.
Like
you've
if he
got to be
fights
able to
Colby
deal with
Covington
that.
next, do you think he's not going to say anything
Yeah,
about his
Kobe's.
childhood?
You've got to be ready for the
You can't
worst.
just stab him.
And he showed that he has to deal with it first in himself. Like you're expecting people outside of you to not say hurtful things. When in this world can I control anybody from saying hurtful things to me? That means that I say the hurtful things to myself, and I need to deal with those myself. It doesn't matter what anybody else says to me. It's all a reflection of myself. So I see he's got some things that he showed to the world. He gets to look at it himself in Strickland. And when he deals with those, they won't hold power over him anymore. But until he deals with them, people can throw them at him anytime they want and get him to stab him and go to jail. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Dominic has definitely been to therapy before. I got my bachelor's in psychology,
There's no
and I'm
therapy
impressed.
here.
No, but I'm impressed on the way that you're able to break down the mental mindset and how you have to get over certain things. And you can't reveal these cards.
Yeah.
You have to deal with it
Or you
yourself.
can, but you got to be ready.
Yeah, you have to be. Or you already had to deal with it yourself. You have to know yourself.
Especially when
I
you
agree.
sling as much mud as a guy like
Yes,
Strickland normally
thank you.
does.
That's exactly
right?
what
like
I'm
that,
saying.
You just have to be
Well,
ready.
you
for
open
somebody
yourself
throw
up
it
to
down.
feel like you're
If you're
bullied.
going to talk that way, you got to be ready for them to throw your skeletons at you.
He actually told me that. He goes, I have no problem with it. He goes,
He did have a problem,
Dricus,
though.
he said, I said, Dricus told me he didn't feel bad about you crying on Theo Von's podcast. He goes, he shouldn't. He goes, I go so hard that they should come at me.
But then why is he telling them all? You can't. You got to have one or the other.
Because here's the deal. This is what he also said. He said he said if he calls Ian Gary a cuck.
Yeah.
He said if Ian Gary decides to walk up to me with a gun and shoot me in the head because of the things I said, I have to be ready to deal with the consequences because I said those things. He said I made a conscious decision to make fun of a man's wife. So if his action in response to that is to do something physically to me, I have to deal with that. If I can't tell Dricus not to say those things, but if he does, he has to deal with my response, which would be the stabbing.
See, that's the difference, though.
That's what he
where
said,
I don't
though.
agree.
But that's what he said, though. Because that's the thing with people, right? People want to say everything, but there is no consequence.
Well, you got to deal with the consequence. He's taking responsibility for getting shot, but he's not taking responsibility for doing the stabbing.
Because
so
he's saying that
responsible on both ends.
No, I think he'll just say he's going to go to jail. He doesn't care.
Yeah, because he's saying, and then he'll take his punishment. But he's saying that if you want to step out there, you deal with the response. Because that's the problem. People are too free now to say whatever they want in the world. And for guys like Sean Strickland, they're like, you'll pay for it.
But they're fighting. So, yeah, they're already going to do it. So say what you want. We're going to fight. What, are you going to fight me harder in the octagon if I say mean things to you? Like, who cares?
Well, we asked Dricus the other day, stuff goes sideways. You go say some crazy stuff. He's like, yep.
But that's why I
there.
think Sean actually respects Dricus now, is because after that altercation in the stands at the last pay-per-view, Drake is like, I'm not going to press charges. Like, I said something to him. He took matters into his own hands. They kind of respected each other for that. And after that, I think the most interesting thing to me...
I think he scared him. That, like DC said, though. I think Strickland scared the shit out of Du Plessis, and he's like, you know what? I'm never going to say that again.
I don't think jumping him in the stand scared him. I don't
Not
think
that. No, the knife thing, no. That's the crazy. I think it kind of scared him a little.
And now he's on a bed buying knives. Like the one thing he put is a knife.
Making sure he knows.
That's crazy.
We're watching this go down like this?
Do we want to play the balloon game?
We got to go to the feature.
Hold on. We got to go to the feature first, then we're going to play the balloon game. So let's take a look at our main event feature, UFC 297. Check it out.
When you're about to go fight a man, whatever thoughts of doubts or fear or hesitation, that's all just the coward in your brain.
Am I brave enough?
We have that little thought when we get hit and we feel pain, that little coward voice pops in your head. You gotta just bury everything and just be like, hey, I'm ready to die for this.
Sean Strickland comes over to Sydney, Australia to take that belt from Adesanya, one of the greatest of all time. This is a massive hill to climb for him.
The whole world talking shit about him, the whole world saying he couldn't do it.
Someone who was doubted, someone who was counted out, someone who had quote unquote no chance.
I am the fight.
Huge right hand for Sean Strickland! Oh my gosh! Sean Strickland! Strickland applying a world of pressure!
Oh my goodness!
That is Sean Strickland in his element, fighting like a man.
Sean Strickland has produced one of the biggest upsets in UFC championship history.
Sean Strickland's last fight was incredible. The whole world counted him out, but I didn't see him superior at all. I do believe I'm the best middleweight in the world, and I'm going to be the best middleweight ever.
Here is the South African finisher, Dricus du Plessis.
Du Plessis is an absolute tank of a man. He's a huge, powerful middleweight and a real knockout striker.
I have the highest fight pace in the world. There's not going to be a moment in the fight where I'm not on you. There's not going to be a moment in the fight where I'm not there to take your head off. And that's what makes me dangerous.
Huge right hand, Dricus du Plessis. South Africa is officially on the map now.
That's South Africa for you, baby.
When I get in there, I'm there to finish that fight. I don't need judges telling me that I'm the winner. I want there to be no doubt.
I'm coming for #1 spot. He has already put himself in position where he's in a #1 contenders fight.
Whitaker's in a world of trouble. Big strikes raining down by the South African. Do you believe it? Dricus du Plessis calls his shot. Title fight next.
Yeah, Dricus could fight, but I'm gonna do a master class on him.
Sean Strickland is an in-your-face kind of guy, and that is exactly how he likes to fight.
I'm gonna walk through Dricus.
He said he'd show him a whole new level in the octagon, and that's exactly what he did.
This feeling right here is what Sean Strickland lives for.
You guys know me, I don't give a I just want to make motherfuckers bleed. And Dricus is the next one, he's gonna bleed. I can't wait.
You know you won't finish me. You won't even get close. You are not world championship material. I'm gonna show you what it's like to Dricus. Every childhood memory you have is gonna come back.
One little sentence and the man loses his mind. Shows you how easily mentally will be broken.
If you take your soul, you understand? You're gonna see 5 rounds of him getting the others kicked out of him. I promise you that. UFC 297 is gonna be a war, you guys. It is gonna be a fucking war.
I'm coming over to title and yet again another finish.
Not doing it yet.
Paul, grab the pen. All right, you can see that we all have balloons tied around our ankles. This is what we like to do every show. These are these viral TikTok challenges. This one is the balloon pop challenge, okay? Now, you can't take anybody down. You're trying to pop their balloons. Take a look at this. Here's an example of what this game looks like from TikTok, right? You tight there, relatively tight. You're moving around, trying to pop these other dudes' balloons. Last person with a balloon that is not popped wins the game. Hands behind the back, okay, when we're down to 2, but there's no grabbing, like all the kind of crap.
Yeah, I know.
Just open palm strikes.
Right.
Kelly?
All right, okay. Michael Plant, our referee, he's going to let us know when somebody breaks the rules. I would think the advantage here is to Dom because he has the best footwork of the bunch.
Here we go, everybody.
Here we go.
Stand by in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The game is on.
I popped my own in the wall.
You guys said no physical abuse, and I got pushed out of the back.
That was bullshit. The wall got me.
Watch the hands.
God, somebody's gonna lose a freaking
Chris, you gotta step with the other leg, Chris.
You're just too high.
RJ, get him. Me and you. Come on. Here you go. Let's get home.
Watch the hand. Watch the hand.
That's all. That's all.
Hand behind your back. Hand behind your back. Oh, you got it, Chris.
Right down. You got right down.
Hey, let me put it in my pocket. No.
Before we already planned on you.
You guys were getting me out there.
I'm so tired.
I'm exhausted. I didn't go as long as you guys
Let's
did.
go. I'm the champion again. Where's my belt?
It's bullshit. Wow, I think we all lost some weight on that one.
All right, that was a little aerobic, a little anaerobic.
Fueled by protein.
A little bit of everything on that one.
Do you feel like you're under 240 now?
I think I did it, Dan Kelly. I think I finally made it. I think I got under 240 with this one.
The K is silent.
Say bye, Dan.
That was fun. That was fun.
It was fun.
Want me to close this out, Dan Kelly?
This was the longest show I think that we have ever had. Catch your breath.
I'm a little
That's the reason why we're so tired.
How winded you are.
Hey, look how winded he is.
Yeah, but you're fighting soon.
Nose breathing.
You fight soon.
10.5 weeks.
I was
bodying up
260.
What do you weigh right now? UFC 297 coming up on Saturday for the champ, and the champ. We'll take a look at DC.
What the heck was that?
Maybe we have some fun. Dom might come back. His positive affirmations was really good. I think I pulled a quad muscle on that, by the way.
It's like a switch.
That was good. Ceremonial weigh-ins, of course, coming up at 5 o'clock Eastern at the Scotiabank Arena here in Toronto. And if you saw the press conference, we were oversold. Lines of people waiting to get in. So arrive early. Somebody rushed the stage. Dana actually got a pretty big kick out of that, as did Sean Strickland. I'm still feeling the syrup, by the way.
Man, they love DC on the fucking show.
DC talks a lot, Dom. You're no stranger to that. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Most expensive.
Enjoy UFC 297.